Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media, and I'm joined with my brother Miguda. Miguda, habari gani?
Niko salama kakangu Benson. Walisema unatumia neno kaka, si ndugu.
Oh, kaka ndio. Kwani tofauti iko wapi?
Sijui tofauti, lakini inasikia ile Kiswahili mufti
Mu-
ni kaka.
Sasa nani anakuja na vitu kama hizi na mpaka watu wote wakuje wakubali kwamba hii ndio mzuri? Ni nani huyo?
Unajua kuna ile inaitwa mabadiliko ya lugha.
Eh,
Ile lugha waliotumia wazee wetu au baba
eh,
zetu, ile
eh,
tutatumia leo hii.
eh,
Sasa unapata kama kuna wakati nafikiria wale millennial kama wewe, wakati mlikuwa katika shule ya msingi
eh,
ama shule ya upili,
yeah,
mlitumia Kiswahili inaitwa Kiswahili sanifu.
yes.
Sasa sisi hawa vijana wa juzi tunatumia Kiswahili mufti, na vile vile nasikia saizi pia kuna kingine inakuja hawa kizazi kipya. Sasa huwa inabadilika hivyo,
Iwe inabadilika.
development of language.
Eh. Naam, unajua hata ukikuja katika mtaa zetu ambao sisi tunaishi ama pale tuseme umeenda Kayole, umeenda Umoja, kuna pia ile lugha ya mtaa ambayo inatumika sana. Kitambo naweza kumbuka kulikuwa wakati ilikuwa inaitwa Shembeteng, Lamboto. Unajua hizo ulikuwa unazielewa kweli?
Lomboto.
Mimi nilishikuwa nashindwa hata sijui hawa watu wanasema nini.
Unajua mimi wakati tulikuwa shule ya upili,
Eh,
watu wengi tulikuwa tunasoma shule walikuwa toka kwa hizo kijiji.
eh,
Hizo nimesema kama Kayole, Kibra, Mathare. Sasa walituambukiza na hizo lugha.
eh,
Sasa tukaanza kuzungumza hizo lugha. Na hizo si lugha sanifu au mufti. Ni Kiswahili tu za mtaa.
sasa inakujaje mpaka tuseme kwanza hii ndio mufti na hii si mzuri?
Ngumi ni mbwetse.
Inakujaje? Nani ako na hiyo ushawishi ama nani huwa anasahihisha mpaka aseme sasa kuanzia leo hii itakuwa lugha mzuri ambayo sisi tunafaa tutumie?
Nafikiria kama uko shule nayo kuna taratibu.
Yeah.
Ambao wakati kama kutoka kidato cha kwanza hadi ya pili ama kutoka katika shule ya msingi ukaenda shule ya upili, utapata kuna taratibu amekuwekea. Hata zile vitabu za riwaya kuna taratibu, zile ulitumia sijatumia na kizazi kinakuja hazikutumii. So katika shule kuna taratibu ambayo ukiingia katika shuleni utafuata tu. Lakini sasa ukitoka shule ukiingia kwa mfano ukienda kwa bunge, utapata wale rika ya Raila wako na Kiswahili lingine. Kuna ile Kiswahili ambayo utaielewa vizuri, ni sanifu, lakini hii kizazi chetu kuna hii mufti. Sasa baada ya shule utarealize kwamba kuna tofauti za lugha, lakini kando na Kiswahili hiyo kwa mtaa naye kuna katika kila mtaa kuna vile kila watu wako na lugha yao. Kwa mfano ukienda hata Mombasa, unapata lugha ya Mombasa vile wanaita gari, si vile wase wa Kayole wanaita gari. Kuna wase wanasema nganya, dinga, kitu kama hiyo. Sasa wakati nilikuwa naendanga Ngong, watu wa Ngong wanasema nganya. Watu wa Mlolongo wanasema dinga. So kila Mombasa pia unapata kitu kingine. Ukienda Nyanza pia kitu kingine. So kila mtaa kuna vile wanazitanganyisha. Sasa hizi pia nisikia hii nyingine ilikuja hapo wakati wa maandamano. Ati gotha tena. Sasa inalingana na vile watu wanaiangalia hata. It depends.
Okay,
Mwenye sheria ya kwamba leo tutumie hii, leo tusitumie hii. Sasa hapo ndio mimi sijajua nani anaanza hizi lugha. Nani anakujanga na hizi lugha? Hizi mistari, zinaitwa mistari.
Mistari, okay, sawa sawa. Ni wanasema waliobobea katika uwanja wa lugha, labda hao ukikutana na watu kama Wala bin Wala, unajua hao watu kama Munene Nyaga. Unajua Munene Nyaga Munene Nyaga ni mtu ambaye wala bin wala, Munene Nyaga, wengi tu. Kulikuwa na nani pia alikuwa mzuri sana katika lugha ya Kiswahili, marehemu Ken Walibora, huyo pia alikuwa mzuri katika lugha ya Kiswahili. Na au tu baadhi ambao wanaelewa sana lugha ya Kiswahili. Sa leo tunataka pia tuzungumzie tu mambo ambayo inaendelea. Kung'atuliwa kwa makamu wa rais ni jambo ambalo inazungumziwa tu pote tu, hakuna mali watu wazungumzii hayo mambo. Lakini kabla tujaendelea, nataka kupasha tu habari tu fupi ambavyo mimi niko nazo, labda we kutoka kwako pia utanipasha. One of the news that is here, I feel it is a news, is the impeachment of Kericho County Governor. The boss of Kericho County has been impeached. And he was crying. Akasema niko na mtoto. Kwani mtoto inakujaje ukivunja sheria? Unajua, hiyo haiwezi kuwa jambo ambalo unaweza jitetea nayo. Hivyo ninakwambia venye wanasiasa wetu saa zingine huwa wako na maneno mazuri ya kujitetea. Hiyo ni moja. Secondly, do you remember when Nandi Senator Honorable Cherargei was talking about extension of presidential term limit? Actually, that thing, it is in the parliament, and I think it will be tabled one of these days. I tell you.
I think this is the next special motion after they are done with the impeachment thing, they will introduce that motion.
Yeah, so that is something
in parliament, because we were told that there are two special motions in parliament. One was impeachment, the second one could be the term limit extension.
Term limit extension, and imagine I think they're also extending term limit for the governor, term limit for members of parliament and the Senate and everybody. You know that the
political elective positions.
So
it's gonna be attractive.
Yeah. So I don't know what has informed them that those 2 years they can. I don't know. We will listen to the reason why they're doing that, and that is also going to be there. That is there. Another thing, the Law Society of Kenya in Mombasa have been enjoined in the case ule blogger alienda. Law Society wamekubaliwa pia kuwa katika hiyo kesi. Tutaona venye itaendelea. Ule blogger mwenye alidhulumiwa, unaona, Bruce. Leo High Court in Mombasa really walikubali Law Society kuingia hapo, hiyo kuwa part of the case too. So that is them. And another developing interest that we will also talk about, the Sudi. Yeah, you know, Sudi alisema 2 weeks, and what Sudi said seems to be taking place. And I will just, in the process, I will read what Sudi said about sure bet. The sure bet. Sure bet.
Haitaungua.
Bet huwezi choma watu wa mlima. Ni kuna mwingine anatoka inaguzwa, alafu kuna mwingine anarudi. So iko hapo inarudi. So kwa hayo tu ndio labda fupi ambapo mimi niko nazo. Labda kutoka kwako kama uko na jambo ambalo, then ndio tuingilie mjadala wa leo.
Jambo ambalo ningeongelea, kwanza nilikuwa nataka kuzungumzia hilo hoja ya kumbandua naibu wa rais Rigathi Gachagua, lakini umeshazungumzia. Leo katika jengo la bunge kulikuwa na huyu kiongozi ya walio wengi Kimani Ichung'wah.
Yes.
Alikuwa azungumza na huyu mheshimiwa wa Starehe. Unajua Starehe, hiyo bunge hapo ndio Starehe constituency. Hiyo kama bunge hapo ni kama one of his constituency facility. Sasa alikuwa anasema ya kwamba yeye kibinafsi hajasoma ile hoja.
Yeah.
Ama hajaiona. Kimani Ichung'wah alimjibu kama haifai, alimjibu kama mtoto mdogo, si kama mheshimiwa. Alimwambia kwamba tutabadilisha hii hoja kwa Kiswahili ili pia wewe upate nafasi ya kusoma. Ama the only thing which we need to try translate into your local language, but Kiswahili. Sasa yule mbunge alikasirika na kusimama na vile alimwongelesha vibaya sana. Hiyo ni moja ya vitu ambayo zilifanyika katika bunge leo, na vile vile pia niliona yule mbunge wa Embakasi East Babu Oweno alikuwa Kasarani na vijana katika mtaa walikuwa wanachapa gumzo. Vijana wanamwambia ati mheshimiwa, usitupe 10 bob, usitupe mbao, tunatafuta 10 bob. Wewe unakanyaga kiti ya rais mara moja 2027, si lazima uende gavana. Alafu alikuwa anapata gumzo kwa vijana, alikuwa anapata ushawishi. Kila mtu alikuwa anamwambia kwamba wewe unasema aje, mimi nataka uende gavana, wewe nataka uende Embakasi, na wewe nataka tuende tu preso direct bwana, hii kitu acha kungoja. So niliona kama mheshimiwa ako na watu kwa ground.
Okay,
sawa sawa. Ilikuwa one of the things ambazo zilihit mtandao leo. Na vile vile pia tunaona kama yule Rais William Ruto leo pia alionekana wazi tangu atoke New York. Alikuwa wazi, alikuwa na gavana wa Nairobi Johnson Sakaja huko Uhuru Gardens. Sasa na kuongelea mambo ya Rigiji, na pia tukaona kama Rigiji kiti yake ilikosekana huko. Namaanisha kwamba hii bet itapita.
Hii bet haichomi. Hii ameenda. Wewe bado ameenda. Okay, sawa sawa. Asante sana. Ukizungumzia the majority leader on how he addressed one of the members of parliament, it tells you how sometimes our leaders, how they treat fellow leaders with no decorum, that pride that they have. I don't know, is because he's the majority, or I don't know what might have informed him to be of such. Because as a leader, you are required, if a member tells you something of the sort, you have to have a very good tone, like, can you please, I can take you through, or, all that. But the arrogancy that sometimes we see on our leaders is not, haiendi soon. Hiyo iko hata kama mliwatumia salamu Gen Z, lakini bado hiyo that arrogance is there. So my friend, thank you so much. And something that also is there is about the Inject. Inject at the registrar of the political parties. It has been approved, the name, and it usually takes 30 days. So which means at the register of the political parties, there's no any other political name with the word Inject. So it has been approved. So the process of registration will start. So that is also something that is trending. Another thing that also we might talk about is about public participation. The public will be allowed to give their views, especially on Friday in all the counties. If you go to the standard, you will see the publication from the clerk of the National Assembly, publishing areas that the public participation will be carried in all the constituencies. So if you want to give your views concerning the impeachment of the deputy president, you can check the today standard, and you will find where you can give your remarks, whether you feel it is right to impeach the deputy president or is not. So that is also something that is there. And so hizo tu ndio sasa tuseme kwamba zile zinatokea. Thank you Brenda Obedi, thank you Judith Karwitha, thank you so much for joining, and I hope some of our members will be also be joining. So Miguda, once again, welcome to the show. These 3 words that are usually very important or very significant, especially when it comes to the Constitution. And this is we the people. There are only 3. And if you look at, or if you say that we the people, it means us, the people who kind of like have a final say, or give maybe members of the parliament or our representative the power to make decisions on our behalf after telling them those that we are going through legislation or in the political process. That is what is there when we talk about we the people. And the reason why I brought this with the people is, as a people, what is the right way forward uh, for good governance and leadership, based on the fact that we've seen what has happened or what has been happening. We've read the history of this country. And at some point where we find that we lose it when it comes to the politics of leadership. So, and how does we the people can be well understood, or what can be of good understanding, especially for those who want to bring the liberation to the country, like the Gen Z. So the we the people, how can they interpret that we the people and bring those changes into the political processes and political leadership? Thank you so much, Miguda. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Brother Benson, for welcoming to the show. And also to our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. If I want to discuss about with the people, I would like to give you a little bit of history, then I'll dive in my point. We the people is a 3 word in the Constitution. And if you look at our preamble, it comes
Yeah.
first that we the people
Mhm.
gave ourselves this Constitution. There's that acknowledgement of God. God bless Kenya. So
Mhm.
even God come first, then we the people. So at least there's a supreme being,
Yeah.
sovereign being, God, then supreme being God, then the people are sovereign. The reason why it was so wise in their own wisdom, they saw that it is good to have we the people in the Constitution. Kenya, first, Kenya is the indivisible state. Kenya is a one state, a monist.
Mhm.
Therefore, Kenya being a state, definition of a state is defined. It was defined in Uruguay, in the capital city of Uruguay, called Montevideo. The state is the state consists of 4 elements: the population,
Yeah.
the government, the legal framework, and the geographical boundaries. So in these 4 elements, the people,
Mhm.
because in Kenya,
Go-
the
Okay, I
people
can hear you.
existed before government.
Yeah.
Before there was government in Kenya, be it colonial
Mhm.
government or post-colonial government, there were the people in this country.
Yeah.
There were those people, even in early 18th, there were people in Kenya. So
Mhm.
those people are sovereign. Before legal framework, the constitution, they are the people. So
Mhm.
before we say that this is Mount Kenya, this is Lake Victoria, this is coastal region, this is Nyanza,
Mhm.
people are sovereign. The people come first before the constitution. The people are sovereign to that constitution. That's why there's distinction between sovereignty and supremacy. The
Mhm.
supreme law is the constitution, but the sovereign people are the people. So the sovereign power is with the people, but the supremacy is with the constitution. So we the people
Mhm.
is a very good thing to dive in the formation of governance. So it means that it is the people who decides on how they would like to be governed. It's the people who decide the form of government they want. If today we say that we the people, we are occupying state house and parliament, we want everybody to go home so that we the people can have a new chart on how we want our country to be governed. We
Mhm.
have that power. So we the people, it's like, even if you look at Jesus' teachings, Jesus was telling the Jews that the Sabbath was made for man, not man for Sabbath. So the not constitution for people. It is people first, then constitution. So it is the people who are sovereign, then the constitution. So the people are sovereign and they can invoke that Article 1. In terms of governance, so there's that assistance in Article 10 talking about principles of national values and principles of governance, whereby now we don't want good governance. We do not want government of corruption. We don't want government where people are making deals. We don't want government where people do not involve the public in the decision making of the country. Therefore, the people are sovereign. The people come first. So that's why when we want to discuss or we want to chart ways on how we want the structure of government, You must go back to the people. The reason why the people must be sovereign and we the people, because the constitution did not exist before the people. It is not the constitution, then the people. Constitution, we just gave ourselves constitution so that it can guide the people. We gave the 10 laws from God to guide human being in life. Not 10 laws, then human beings. If there is no existence of that human beings, there cannot be that 10 laws. If there is not existence of the people, there's no constitution. So let us respect Article 1. We the people are vested into the people. That's why, to answer your question, in matters of governance, in matters of social democracy, social justice, democracy, rule of law, it is the people, then the laws come after.
Okay, Marco Bura, habari gani?
I'm okay. How are you doing? I hope you're all good.
We are doing good. How have you been this evening?
Niko salama, nashukuru.
Mm.
Ya, tunapambana, tuna hali mdogo mdogo.
Okay, asante sana. We are talking about we the people, and I want us to talk about this based on some of the decisions that are being made on our behalf. Do they reflect we the people, the three word in our constitution, and has Miguda has really explained, and how can we as a people see that all that we the people are saying is a reflective of what we think or what we know?
Okay, just on the same. When you read the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, that is chapter 1, article 1. Article 1 talks of sovereignty of the people. If you read into it, it says all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised only in accordance with this constitution. Number 2, it says the people may exercise their sovereign power either directly or through their democratically elected representatives. Number 3, it says sovereign power under this constitution is delegated to the following state organs, which shall perform their function in accordance with this constitution. That is the parliament and the legislative assemblies in the county government. Number 2, the national executive and the executive structure in the country, in the county government, and the judiciary and the independent tribunals. And number 4 says the sovereign power of the people is exercised at the national level and at the county level. I think if we try look into what the constitution says, that all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised only in accordance with this constitution. Whatever we've been seeing as a people is that the people in leadership do not recognize, they do not actually, it seems that they have not even read the constitution. It seems that they do not even understand what the constitution says. Because we have a constitution, and that constitution has given a clear way on how everything should be done. But we are seeing a country where leaders are simply coming up with their laws. They don't follow the constitution. They make decisions depending on what they want. And this is actually against the law. And I really wonder why normally when they're being sworn in, I always see them carry a Bible. Then I ask myself as a Christian and all the teachings that I know about Christianity, and not just Christianity. The moment someone carries a Bible and swears before God and before the people, then it is a binding agreement that if they go against, of course, there are consequences. Consequences first comes from God and then the people, because God is supreme. So I don't understand why the constitution is there and everything is in place, but they simply decide not to follow. When you read the same article 1, number 2, it says that the people may exercise their sovereign power either directly or through their democratically elected representatives. And this brings us to this question: are we seeing people exercising their sovereign power directly in the Republic of Kenya? Possibly, I would say no, because what you are seeing is that the elected representatives are too powerful to an extent that most of time they don't even ask for participation from the citizen. They simply make all the decisions by themselves. That is the representatives. For instance, if you remember the finance bill, the constitution here is very clear that they should be consulting from the people, but they did not do that. They simply made that decision by themselves. Of course, the constitution gives them that mandate to make the decision, but remember, if you read this constitution, it says either directly, so directly comes first. And that is why the young people, when they believed that they had delegated the power to the members of parliament, but they were not consulting them, they decided to do it directly by even going to the parliament to show them that they are not happy with what they are doing. As much as the citizen gave them the power to make the decision, but they are not consulting the people. And that actually brings us to this question. The people then exercise their sovereign power directly by going to the parliament to withdraw back the power that they given the members of parliament. And democracy, we always say this like every day. Democracy says that the people comes first. And the nation cannot exist without the people. It is the people who are supposed to be making decisions. It is the people who are supposed to be consulted, because they're the people who pay taxes. We are the people who even pay these people in these representatives. So they are our employees. Normally, if you go to companies, the leaders of those companies, they normally consult the workers, because the workers are the bearers. They're the people who are driving the whole company. I want to give you a clear example. If you go to these insurance companies, most people, not just insurance, especially these companies who deals with interaction with the people, they always have people on the ground who always introduces, who always advertises on their behalf. But you find that sometimes they are not treated well, because the people at the leadership level did not even recognize their support. They not even recognize their strength in that industry. So my point is, the constitution is clear and the leaders knows what they are supposed to do, but they are not doing. What we should do as a people is to continue with demanding for accountability, continue demanding for good leadership, just the same way the Gen Zs had started. And I can see the title of what we're actually talking about here is We the People. We the people have the mandate to do what we want in this country. We have the mandate to make all the decisions. And if our representatives are supposed to make them on our behalf, the constitution is clear, just the same way I've read in chapter 1, article 1, that the people are the supreme, the sovereign power belongs to them.
Okay, thank you so much, Makobura, for that. And the reason why, again, I'm bringing this, because you are aware that on Friday, the Friday that we are this week, I think is one day from today, from this evening, there will be public participation. And in the public participation, which means the the people of Kenya will have to give their views on the impeachment of the deputy president. And I hope their representative will be there. So they will be saying, okay, I feel it is okay. They will read the charges and tell them the reason why those charges are being brought to him and the reason why him, as a member of parliament, he feels like the president should be impeached. To my question is, will the people who will be giving the views will be organic, or the people who will be appointed by the members of parliament who feel like these are my people who listen to me? And if that one takes place, if they decide to bring their loyalties or the people who are very loyal to them to come and give their views on the impeachment of the president, will that one reflect the view of the people?
I will agree with your question even before answering it. Not based on any bias, but to be factual, it will reflect the will of the people. The reason why I say that it will respect the will of the people, public participation, it has various meaning definition. If you go to definition of public participation,
Yeah.
even interpretation in the court, if you go to the House of Lords, that was the courts in England, there's a certain judge who was famous by the name Lord Denning. This is how he defined public participation. So your definition is not my definition, but it was left that public participation, it depends on the circumstances of what is to be brought to the public to participate and the people who are there. Because if you start asking that, does it reflect the will of the people, or does it reflect how people think? Certainly you're not going to get the answer, because
but this, I agree. I'm looking at it this way. Let's say, for instance, I'm the member of parliament for a certain constituency, and there should be a public participation, and we are calling all members, because I know not everybody from the constituency will be able to attend, including even that old lady who might not have how to reach the place or the transportation, But let's say and I call people from all walks of life, people from my constituency, then they come and give their views. But in the scenario, sometimes in Kenya, we've seen how you will only let the people who are very close to you, who share the same idea with you, come in and give their views. And it come like an informed view.
I got you.
Yeah.
So there is people can be compromised in certain areas, but that it will reflect the public participation. You saw Gladys Boshole suspending Thursday session.
Yeah.
That because they are going to public demonstration of the country. Reason being, even the Constitution of Kenya 2010, it is the supreme law of the land, and it binds everybody. But remember, even there are people who never voted for it. The Kalenjin nation never voted for it. They oppose it. So it doesn't mean that if there's a section, even the people who supported it, there's a people who never supported it. But it is the law. It binds everybody, whether you support it or you support it. So going to be compromised or not, or whether those people are going to be organic. Once there is that report from the members of parliament that there was public participation in my constituency and is attached as the annexure, that will be an evidence because that there was public participation, because it could be not wise if the session could proceed without that annexure of the public participation. At least they will make it more watertight if they put that public participation and added annexure into that impeachment motion. So to be genuine with your question, you are just saying it can't be organic, because you understand the issue of impeachment in Mount Kenya, across the nation. No one is ready for impeachment of Rigiji. Because people are saying, if it's a matter of impeaching Rigiji, impeach both. If you look at impeach both, it was trending at number 1. Impeaching Rigiji is not popular. So the fact that it is not popular, not only in Central, but across the country, so they want to make it more watertight so that they don't leave any stone unturned. That's why they are going back to the people on Thursday, and I think on Friday, then they will bring that motion after there is that annexure of public participation. But Benson, the issue of public participation is an issue which is still in the corridors of interpretation of laws. There is no better, or there is no specific definition of public participation. Even though we are loud about there was no public participation, but you cannot define it to meet your expectation or to meet anybody's, because what is public participation to Ruto is not what is public participation to Rigiji, is not what is public participation to me or to the judge. So it depends with the interpretation of the court. So I think they don't want to leave anything out, because it could be, you understand that most of the gubernatorial cases or the deputy governors in this country, they have been, some have been reinstated with court, or some have gone through. So some have moved to court, and court have stopped the impeachment, because we argue that it is a political process. It should end at Senate, but you find people are moving to court to block it. So they always argument to the people who have moved to court is that there was no public participation, that Article 10 was not followed. So once court have heard that there was no public participation, and indeed it has confirmed that there was no public participation, sometimes court usually stop the impeachment of the said governors or the deputy governors. So these people do not want the court to stop the impeachment of Rigiji. That's why, whether it is not organic or people are going to be compromised, they have to go for that public participation.
Okay. Makobura, what is your take on it?
I wanted to read something about what the Constitution says about public access and participation.
Yeah.
Chapter 8, the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, that is the legislature. Part 5 says Parliament's general procedures and rules. And then if you read ahead, it says that the Parliament shall, 1, conduct its business in an open manner, and its sittings and those of its committees shall be in public, and B, facilitate public participation and involvement in the legislative and other business of the Parliament and its committee. Number 2 goes ahead and says that Parliament may not exclude the public or any media from any sitting unless, in exceptional circumstances, the relevant speaker has determined that there are justifiable reasons for the exclusion. It is true that the Constitution do not really talk too much about participation, but what is there is that the people has to participate, and the people are not supposed to be stopped. We have that right to get the information, and whatever the Parliament is doing should be done in an open manner. The people should know what is happening. The media should know what is happening. And actually, when after reading this, I was then asking myself that most of times we've seen members of Parliament, especially when they're discussing some issues, they've been blocking media houses. And then if you ask or if you hear what the speaker is saying, they always say that these media houses are trying to incite or give false information. And then that brings us to this question. A media house that is just reporting what has been happening, why are they being then excluded? Because if they are being excluded, it says here that, of course, the speaker has that mandate to block them. There's no problem. But unless in exceptional circumstances where the relevant speaker has determined that there are justifiable reasons. Is it really a justifiable reason if the speaker says that media house is inciting people. We've seen there are some list of media that sometimes they have excluded just because politically they feel that they are being targeted. In this last general election, there were so many media houses that were being attacked, and they were actually blocked from accessing maybe parliaments and so many government, whatever, just because they were reporting what was really happening on the ground. And so the parliament led by the speaker, most of the time they've not been following what the constitution says according to what we've just read here. The people have the right and the access, should have the right and the access of all the information. And I wanted to say something about the impeachment that my brother has just talked about. When it comes to participation, there are so many instances where where impeachment has been done, and then when the people who have been impeached, when they go to the court has always nullified all those impeachment on the ground that the people are not involved. What is the reason being? In chapter 1, it says very well that the people are the supreme. The sovereign power belongs to the people. They were not involved when impeachments are being done. Hawakuulizwa maoni yao watoe because the people elected those people. And again, I want to tell you that this impeachment that was just done in Kericho, it is also going to be nullified. The reason being, the court had said very well that they should not continue with that impeachment. They should not even discuss it, but they went ahead to discuss it. The speaker gave argued that they had the majority, and so they were constitutionally okay to proceed with the impeachment. That is not following the law. If the court has pronounced itself, the court should be respected because they're the people who ensures that the laws they do the interpretation and everything in accordance with the constitution.
Okay, and that one bring me to the question. When you come to the legislation is usually done by the elected leaders in county assembly or in the parliament, and the interpretation of those laws is being done by the judiciary. Yeah. If you legislate a law, and then it is interpreted by the judiciary, and judiciary gives a pronouncement on it and say, okay, hey, I know that you are the people who are legislating and making these laws, but on this, our interpretation is you should not continue with the impeachment of particular persons. Yeah. And you, as the legislators, who are the people who have made these laws, you go ahead and override what the judiciary has made pronouncement on, just because maybe you have the majority, or just because you do not like the person that is being impeached. How that one stands in 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 the integrity of the leadership of the house, and even those who are given the opportunity to lead.
Okay, let me respond and then Miguda would come. From what I've always seen with the courts, I've seen situation where maybe someone has been accused and is they say that you're not guilty until proven. Me and Miguda here, if maybe Miguda takes me to court and then I've wronged him and then he has valid reasons that I have wronged him, and then we go before you are the judge. And then when the mentioning and everything is being done, Miguda is not seen in the court. And then me, who has been accused, have been there appearing for all those sessions. Sometimes the judge has that leeway to even pardon me as much as I was wrong. Just because Miguda, as much as he brought me to the court, he has not been respecting the court. So what is happening with these county governments is that they're not respecting the courts of the Republic of Kenya. That's an offense.
Is it the county's government or the individual? Because before we come to counties, we have also to look at the conduct of those that are doing or bringing in the process or continuing the process despite the despite what or despite pronouncement from the courts?
It is the county, because the majority took that decision led by the speaker. So when they're being charged, of course they will be charged as a county.
Okay.
I think that is my interpretation. Miguda is very much knowledgeable in that sector. Maybe he can explain that.
Very nice interpretation, though. Very nice, because it depends on how you interpret it. There's no one perfect about it. Everybody is perfect. Everybody can make his own interpretation. It depends now with how we bring it. But let me just add something. Distinction between an individual and the county government, because the issue of the governor is an individual responsibility, but county government is independent and it operates under the County Government Act. And most of the cases are being had at the local jurisdiction courts. For example, cases with the county, even there is a county attorney, whereby a county attorney represents the county government in the case that attack the county, the people at county level, the public at county level. So we have the county attorney, and we have the County Government Act, and anything dealing with the county, it relates to the County Government Acts. But these are cases whereby it involves an individual who is been accused of corruption or mismanagement of funds, and it has been brought to the national level at the Senate, that's the governor. So it must be dealt with in accordance with the impeachment procedures in the Senate. So the issue of court, the reason why that issue of public participation is keen, people are keen about it, is because, Benson, our laws, we use also what we call the precedents. There are precedents. For instance, there are some cases which has been argued and determined and decided, known as the landmark decisions. Such landmark decisions, people, if you go to court, judge will just use a precedent, determine your case. That even in the case of Governor Sonko, in the case of Governor Waititu, in the case of for example, in the case of Oduol, there was no public participation. Similarly, in the case of Rigiji, there's no public participation. So he can use that precedent, determine the case of Rigiji. So these people do not want to make any mistake, because already we have a set precedent in this country that there are some cases of impeachment which has been stopped by court. So they do not. If you look at why were they being stopped by court, it is the issue of public participation. So if they can only be stopped with the issue of public participation, it means impeachments can go through, provided that there is public participation. So what do we do with this issue of Rigiji? Let us even suspend Thursday session, so that when we go to court, we say that even Thursday session was suspended for public participation. So because they don't want to invoke those precedents, because precedents form part of the law of this country. So I think they are very ready for impeaching Rigiji in whatever case.
Okay, now I don't know. Let me which one should usually come first? Because the impeachment motion was already tabled in the parliament. Yeah, it was something that already been tabled, and all the names of MPs that have signed to it. Yeah, then here is a case whereby they suspend it and go back to the people. Which is the right procedure? Because if the MP could have feeling that, okay, there's a problem, the reason why we want to table this one to the parliament, these are the reason why we want to impeach the president. Let's first of all go here from the people, then now we tabled it to the parliament. But this is a decision has already been made, just because they are working on the precedent that, okay, the reason why we might not win is because we've not gone back to the people. So I think it could have been the people first. Then the people say, okay, this is the reason that now we feel we should impeach the president. What if they go to the ground? What if in the event they go to the ground and people say, okay, we don't want you to impeach the president, and the already motion is in the parliament, what will happen?
Brother Benson, remember first, this is a special motion.
Yeah.
For example, there are standing orders in parliament, and there is how the procedure of the motion are being done in parliament. For instance, we have things like finance bill. If you want to pass a legislation to become a bill into law,
yeah,
that's process, because that yearly we must have finance bill yearly. So it means it's not special. Excuse me. So first you have to go to the committee stage, to the public participation, then you bring it to the House. But this was a special motion which was brought to the House by a member of parliament. So he bringing it to the House, there was no room for debate. It means the motion is still as fresh as it is, because it's just the mere fact that it's on the table of the House doesn't mean that the debate has begun, the speaker has given people the green light. No. So you can still go to the public participation, because we are in the process of collecting signatures. You understand, the people collect signatures. It was in the process of, they were in the process of making it into a motion. So the fact that they have suspended Thursday hearing, it means that they want to start hearing once everything has been put into place. So going back to the people is not something contrary to the provisions of the standing orders.
Okay.
So I think because it's a special motion, it has been brought to the House. People were saying that even that day at the Mr. Speaker, put a question. The House can have it. No, you can't put a question because you have just received the resignation from the Speaker. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. We want to thank the Kivumbi Mashinani watching from Kisumu. Asante sana. Silas Odhiambo. I greet you all. Evening Waku. Karibu sana. Tumeshukuru. Laban Misiani. The judiciary cannot interpret the law which has not been broken. Thank you so much, everyone, and welcome to the evening discussion. We are talking about we, the people, 11099, 11099. They will not impeach Rigiji. If it succeeds, the new DP will not speak in Murima. Also, Ruto might not come to stop it. To be the hero. To me, this is what I think. From the way things are, I think Rigiji is going to be impeached and is going to be replaced by somebody from Mount Kenya. And I have three people in mind, either Anne Waiguru, Kithure Kindiki, and Dindi Nyoro. So those are the people that are going to replace the deputy president. And by replacing him, they are going, because like the emotions are high, what is happening? The emotions are high, but to quell that emotions, somebody from the Murima has to come there to quell that emotion. That is what my own opinion, but you also, we really, really appreciate your opinion. Let's wait and see. It's all a matter of predictions. And now let's come to the impeachment.
Maybe, I just wanted to read maybe a brief, process of impeachment. So this is what happens, that the impeachment process in Kenya, the way it is outlined in the Constitution, in Article 145, these are the key steps. Number one, the ground of impeachment. The impeachment of the deputy president can occur on grounds of gross violation of the Constitution or any other law, abuse of office, or misconduct. Number two, the initiation. The process begins when a member of the National Assembly introduces motion proposing the impeachment. The motion must meet certain requirements, such as being supported by a specified number of MPs, at least 1/3 of the members of the National Assembly. Number three, the notice of motion. The member proposing the impeachment must give notice to the Speaker of the National Assembly, and then the Speaker responsible for ensuring the motion is scheduled for discussion. Number 4, there's a debate and voting. The National Assembly debates the motion. For the motion to proceed to the next stage, it must be approved by a majority of the members present and voting. Number 5, the Senate involvement. If the National Assembly votes in favor of the motion, it then moves to the Senate for trial. The Senate conducts a trial with the Chief Justice or a designated judge presiding over the proceedings. Number 6, the Senate votes. After the trial, the Senate votes on whether to remove the deputy president. A two-third majority is required for that removal. And then there is the final decision. If the Senate votes to remove the individual, they cease to hold office. If the motion fails, the individual remains in office. So the most important thing that we should note over there is that throughout the impeachment process, the affected individual is entitled to fair hearing and legal representation. The process is politically sensitive and can often reflect the dynamics of political party affiliations in the National Assembly and the Senate.
Okay. And that is true. And you can even see on how people, the members of the parliament, they appended their signature on that motion. Ruto wants soft person he can dictate. MPs from Mount Kenya have already said they are afraid to go to the ground for their public participation. Remember when they were asking for security, that could have been the main reason why. Yes, the only way, yeah.
Maybe something that I also noted,
yeah,
is that some members of parliament, especially those coming from the Mount Kenya region, specifically from
Murang'a.
Out of 9 elected members of parliament in Murang'a, 6 of them do not append their signature, including Ndindi, I mean 6 of them do not append the signature, and that tells us something. What is it that made them not to sign? But again, if you read more about the Mount Kenya politics, we are being told that Murang'a has a very significant say politically when it comes to those political decisions. Okay. So I think that is something that we should also note, and we should also ask ourselves why. It is a political move that we should also keenly look into.
And actually, Muhammad Ali, the Nyali member of parliament, tweeted saying that he did not append his signature. Did they read his name yesterday? Yes, so that's okay. So and there's also another development that we are seeing, especially from Mount Kenya too. The veteran leaders like Honorable Kabogo, Honorable Mutudho, the way they're talking, like Kabogo was saying, like the Rigiji problem is not a Mount Kenya program. I quote that is today was in, and that is what is happening. They're not standing with the Rigiji, and that is also something that we need to talk about and see what is happening and why it's so. So another thing also we have to look at.
Allow me to say something on that.
Yeah.
When the deputy president got into power, remember the likes of Kabogo, these veteran politicians, most of them were actually not supporting him.
Yeah.
And again, when he came to power, he opted to work closely with the young politicians.
Yeah.
He excluded this senior veteran politicians. With them, I think he had this thinking that the veterans would, if maybe he would be close with them, then maybe they would get, I don't know, some power or something, and they might, along the way, they would have given him problems. So he decided to fully exclude them. And politically, that was not a good way, because those are senior. Somebody like Koititu, Koititu, as much as people are saying this, as much as it's being accused of all these people, I'm telling you that one is Koititu is someone who has some fanatical supporters just within Nairobi and Kiambu, and they are followers. There are people who can, somebody like Kambogo, these are people who have some people who are really following them, and they have a say in that community. So if you don't involve them, if you don't protect them when they're also going through problems, Baba Yao, Baba Yao at first, before the election, he was very close with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And then along the way, when he realized that they were going to take power, he shifted very fast and came to William Samoei Ruto. And the main reason why he came is because he had problems. He had so many accusations in that government. And he knew that this government was then going to protect him. And for sure, this government kind of used him. When they got stable, when they were now stable in this government, they kind of forgot, and they started following him, following Baba Yao, and then Baba Yao then left.
But
So my
like
point,
if he had cases, so there was no way in which the government could just keep quiet, and he might be having some allegations on him.
Yeah, I get what I'm not saying they would have been protected, but politically, we are Kenyans and we know how things have been done. In the last government, you saw that while people were being accused, if they were supporting the government, no one would go for them. But immediately they leave, they would be followed. So the same scenario is what Baba Yao was expecting. If you remember when he was being accused of these other things and then the government was following him, he came up and said that, I even bought that, what was the name of that thing, that vehicle that they were using for campaign. He came out and told the people that he's the one who bought that, and he made the people get to know of so many things, and even say that the president now do not even care, even if he calls the president, that he doesn't pick. So politically, these things have they have a lot of things.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. And I'm reading this. Some of this is true. Politically, the problem is that the leaders, the problem is the leaders' ground is different. Mount Kenya has so many kingpins, but who to crown is always a problem. Kabogo wants it so bad that is there. Generally, Gachagua belongs to Madira leadership, village politics. I don't think so, Laban. He's in national politics right now.
I don't know if you also saw that even the member of parliament who took from him also voted that he should go home. The Madira member of parliament.
Yeah, that is political. But because of accusation, it's a serious thing. This we just spoke about one of the things that we want. So Cheregai on the other side is trying to amend a constitution so that Ruto can serve 7 years or be president for life. We see these games. Yeah, things are unfolding. Things are really unfolding, and we just want to look at what are the impacts. The impeachment of the deputy president, because this is the second highest office in the land, and connecting it with the people. What impact or what presidents is going to set, because this is a landmark, as Miguda was talking about some landmark ruling. This will be one of those, especially uh, even when you want to impeach a MCA, based on the allegations that have been leveled against him. Those are what will be used to make some decisions. And what does it cure? Some people have said that it's curing the tribal or negative ethnicity, negative ethnic that we have. That is one. Some people are saying this is going to bring in what we call accountability and transparency on the leadership. So each and every person is giving their different views on the impact of the impeachment if it succeeds. So on your side, Makubura, what do you think the impeachment, if it succeeds, what kind of impact is it going to give, or the result on the leadership that we have in terms of the political processes and the elective seats?
Okay. First, I think it's right to note that impeaching the deputy president would mean that he would be removed from the office. And truly, this is going to lead to a political instability in the government, especially the ruling government. And, you know, remember from the talks of the deputy president, he had aspirations for this position of the presidency. So politically, there's going to be some instability whereby there's going to be a fight, consistent fight of him wanting to
No,
wanting him to become
Makubura,
relevant.
yeah, before we come to the effects of him, but now we are looking at the political, the offices, especially you look at the office of the MCA, office of the governor, office of the those who can be impeached, you know, what impact will it have? Or
Oh, okay, I get you.
yes,
I thought you were saying that what are going to be the effects like on the country and the political.
no,
Uh,
I'm just talking about in
okay.
terms of it comes to impeachment, because there are those in other
Uh,
quarters who reasons about is going to tame or is going to cure up tribalism or
yeah,
negative and
yeah.
ethnicity.
Okay.
Yeah,
This is my thought on that.
yeah.
When the deputy president is impeached, it is going to be the first impeachment that we are seeing in the Republic of Kenya, if I'm not wrong. And again, it is going to be the first impeachment that we'll be seeing in this Constitution 2010, since the promulgation of this 2010 Constitution. And from where I sit, I believe that for all those people who are going to be vying to deputize either the governor or the president, they are going to be a little bit careful on how they handle or how they communicate with the people. They are going to change their behavior on how they are going to interact with the governor or the president. And again, it is going to give the people an understanding, and even the leaders, especially these ones in the parliament, that an understanding of what to do, especially if the president is having a rogue behavior, if the president is not following the law. This is going to show them a way, and it's going to enlighten them on what to do if they want to remove the president. And so somehow it is going to bring back some accountability. The reason why I'm saying this is because the president or the governor should have known that if they mess, the people knows that they would be the people knows what should be done. And again, it is something that there would be this argument that it is something that has been tested and tried and it has been proven to be working. So at least it's going to bring back some seriousness in the political landscape, and those in the leadership are going to be fearful of the county, the MCAs, the members of parliament. I mean, these people have the power to impeach them in that is the county assemblies and the national and the Senate. Yeah, I think that is my take on that. Maybe you can also give your take.
The effect of impeachment, I think that we are testing the doctrines of separation of powers, checks and balances, whereby the arms of government, they checks each other and they separate powers. Their powers are distinct and also they are balanced. Because the issue of impeachment now, they're saying it is legislatures who are impeaching the deputy president, who is in the presidency. So the person of the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, is being impeached by the legislatures. So they are doing their role of oversight. And we have seen President Ruto has been quiet about this issue. He has not commented anything. He has not talked about it. So President Ruto wants people to assume that it is the parliament which are doing their role. So you want to assume that it's the parliament that is doing their role in the eyes of the public, that let the parliament do their role, let the parliament be independent. But the same parliament which has been compromised by the president. So he's somehow an hypocrite leader. The reason why I say that it is being tested, in 2017 elections, also the separation of powers, checks and balances was tested when the Chief Justice Emeritus, David Maraga, nullified the presidential election of 2017 and called fresh election. You know, it is the judiciary that can, it is the Supreme Court that can determine a dispute related to the presidential election and can make a decision. So the fact that he made a decision that led to a fresh elections, the judiciary check the executive. Today, we are seeing a scenario where the parliament want to check the executive. So going forward, we want also the president, because he has that power to dissolve the parliament. Let him also use that power of separation of powers, checks and balances to dissolve this parliament, because it's currently unconstituted. So let the president, after they have impeached Rigiji, let him also dissolve parliament, because all these applications of the constitutions have been tried and they are working. If this one for Rigiji can sail through, it means that next time is Ruto. People say, okay, it is possible. You can impeach a deputy president. Then let us impeach Ruto. So going forward, and this is for a politician, Makubura, going forward, even if you want to become the president, the shortcut way to the presidency, pick a weaker president. Pick up a weaker president who does not have the majority in the National Assembly. Then once he's the president, you impeach him. After impeaching, you become the president automatically. So this is also creating a certain bad character for crafty politicians. Crafty politicians will see that if I'm popular today, I'll just pick a weaker presidential candidate who does not have the majority in the House. Then once he becomes the president, I just create some mere allegation for him. Then I'll use my numbers in parliament to impeach the president because it's working. After impeaching him, then I become president automatically. So that's the shortest way to become president in this country. Once they have tested it, that it is working on the side of the But the main point I was trying to say, these are just some citations. The main point is, this is the issue of separation of powers, checks and balances. It has worked in the judiciary toward the executive. It is now being applied by the parliament to executive. So the executive should apply to the parliament. So I think our constitution sometimes we are trying it at dysfunctioning.
Okay, maybe something else that I wanted you to kind of clarify is the deputy president. There's in his communication since he got to power, he's been communicating in a way that is not really. Communicating in a way that is not really uniting. You know, the deputy president, according to the constitution, it is clear that there's a way he should behave. He should be doing things in a manner that unites the people of Kenya. But we've seen a deputy president who is very specific, a deputy president who is using certain words which are not really uniting the people of Kenya. Terms like shareholding, terms like I'm the leader of Mulema, I'm the villager, I represent the people of Mulema. We've seen a deputy is only fighting for one region, and maybe from where you see it, how is this going to kind of change the thinking and the mentality and the view of somebody who is going to hold this position in the next dispensation, or should this impeachment goes on finalize? I mean,
if the impeachment sailed through, it means that we have to look at the position of the deputy president in this country. If it's possible, we can even amend the constitution to put some regulation in that office. And we propose that maybe let us have a scenario whereby once you are a president with the deputy, you retire all of you, so that the deputy president does not have ambitions of being president. The issue here is of ambitious or ambitions, because if one want to become president and is the deputy president, what do? You must consolidate your support base. The nature of our politics is tribal-based politics, so it must consolidate Mount Kenya. At the same time, it must work for the people of Kenya. So we need to amend the constitution on now the person of the deputy president, that once you are elected, you should go home with the president. Or if you're deputy president, what Raila proposed when Raila proposed Martha Karua to be his running mate, he said that she's not only going to be my running mate, but also she's going to be the CS for constitutional affairs. It means she was going to be kept busy. But there you have a scenario whereby a deputy president, his only role is the principal assistant to the president. So the guy is not busy. The previous time when Ruto bolted out with Uhuru, you saw when Uhuru put Matiang'i to be in charge of the administration and he was the CS for the interior. Matiang'i was kept busy, and that's how we ended up with Raila being Uhuru's favorite, not Matiang'i, because Matiang'i had no time to campaign, no time to consolidate. So once you're a deputy president, you should be given a docket. What they did to Musalia Mudavadi, once he's a prime cabinet, he was going to be idle. So he was given that docket for CS for diaspora and foreign affairs. So the issue should be that how do we regulate our laws on this principal assistant of the president? We should delegate some duties to the deputy president. Maybe someone was proposing, we were discussing in this our channel in the comment section when I was giving my opinion, and someone also gave me a very good opinion. I can't remember the name. I think maybe it was one of the he told me that let us put the deputy president and the CS for internal security. So it is merged that when you are a deputy president, you are also the CS for the internal security. So you are busy dealing with the administration issues. You have no time for consolidating support base, or you have no time for being ambitious for campaign for the next general election. That's where we went wrong as a country. Talking about Rigiji is the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. He should represent the whole country. That's why he's the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. People were arguing that, why is it that the Trans Nzoia governor, George Natembeya, is talking about the Tawe movement and is not being attacked, and Rigiji is talking about Murima and is being attacked. We have to distinct two things. The Tawe guy is a leader of Trans Nzoia, a county in Western Province. He's not a leader of the entire country. A deputy president is not a deputy president of the Mount Kenya people. He's a deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. And Rigiji confirmed during the time they were going for the homecomings for the ODM guys who are the so-called experts who are in the government. When he was in Suba, he said that this is the first time I'm coming to Suba since I was born. When he was at Ugunja, he said that this is my first time to come to Ugunja. When he was at Nyakach, he said that this is my first time to come to Nyakach. What does that one mean? It means that Rigiji has not been moving across the country. He has been consolidating Mount Kenya for his political ambition. Because he's ambitious and he wants to become the president of William Ruto. What do? Your only role is the principal assistant to the president. And the president has also given you executive order to look for the coffee, tea, and dairy milk. And coffee, tea, and dairy milk, mostly they're in Mount Kenya. What do? You use that opportunity as a politician to consolidate your region so that you can be viewed as the Mount Kenya regional leader. Then you come with it at national level to bargain that I have the Mount Kenya people. I want to become president. What do you have? So Rigiji has not been kept busy. If we could have a scenario whereby the deputy president has some roles other than principal assistant to the president, or the deputy president is viewed to retire together with the president, we could not have all these issues in this country, because it could be focusing on the issue of administration. And also we could be focusing on the issues of governance. And we could also know that we are going to retire together with my boss. There's no need of disturbing him. I think we should amend that executive whereby a deputy president should be given more assignments, or he should be aware that they are going to retire jointly. This issue of giving him one role, that you are the principal assistant to the president. If I'm the principal assistant to the president, the next thing I can become the president anytime. So what do? I must start preparing for my campaigns, my future ambition. So the issue of Rigiji, it is just Rigiji, just like any other politician, has find himself in a catch-22 situation, whereby he want to become the president. At the same time, the people who want him to serve also are ambitious to become president in 2032. So he was fighting he has too many enemies within the circle of the presidency. There were too many enemies who are fighting Rigiji. So I think going forward as a nation, we don't need to have this thing happening that whereby the president and the deputy president are not in good terms. It delays service delivery to the people. It delays services to the common mwananchi. It delays the government agenda. It delays our legislation. Right now, we could be in parliament legislating or discussing matters affecting the people, but we are in parliament discussing the person of the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. It means this crisis should not occur going forward. So as a country, we should learn something after this impeachment, more so as the people, that let us have a correction about this thing. Let us rectify this issue of the deputy president. And also, not only at the national level, we devolve it even to the county level, that even the issue of deputy governors, how do we rectify things here? The roles, how do we do it? So that next time we don't have the crisis in the county government and in the national government, because we spend much time discussing the person of a deputy president or the person of a deputy governor, instead of parliament using that time to legislate on the matters that affect the ordinary people from their constituency level. So for instance, today, people are going for public participation. We could have been going for public participation. Maybe you could be going to ask people of your constituents about how they are going to enjoy their Christmas, or how about they are going to the current students who have not joined university because of the new funding model. How are they going to be absorbed in the university? But we are today discussing the issue of impeaching Rigathi Gachagua. That's why I say that it is wrong, because it delays the service delivery to the people. It delays the government services to the people. The government should be focused and should be concentrating to provide service to the people, not focusing on impeaching a deputy president at the hour whereby even our economy is in crisis. That's where we got it wrong. So after this mess, let us rectify things as a country. That's my take, Makubura.
Thank you. Maybe something that I also wanted you to give your input on is we're seeing deputy governors who are fighting with the governors. We are seeing the deputy president who is fighting with the president. And if you keenly follow, most of them just want to succeed their boss. And it is true that the constitution does not really give them, haijawapea kazi nzuri, ile kazi yenye itawafanya wasikue too light, ile kazi yenye itawafanya wakue busy to an extent that they forget that they also want to succeed their bosses. Maybe as we are going for this impeachment, is it also the right time that as a people we need to be discussing on how to relook and maybe change some chapters in this constitution, some clauses, and with this impeachment coming as the first, the deputy president or the deputy governors, most of the time that we've seen, what is it that they always fight apart from succeeding their leaders? Because we've seen situation where some of them looks genuine, some of them are simply trying to tell the people of Kenya that, you know what, the governor is taking a lot from the people. The governor is mismanaging the county. The governor is looting. You know, we've seen such kind of deputy governors. We're also seeing a deputy government. I mean, president is telling us that, you know what, the president is not finishing the projects. The president is not listening to the people. You know, how are we going to change this after this impeachment? How are we then going to sort the issue of them? How are we going to give them job with the constitution to ensure that they don't feel lazy, they don't lazy around, they don't, you know, they say that an idle mind is a devil's, I don't know, workshop or whatever. How are we going to ensure that we give them something ndio wakuwe busy, wasikwe wanasumbuana na the bosses, wasikwe wakikaa mahali the only thing wanafikiria ni hii mambo ya kusimama na kusema ya kwamba wao pia wanataka kuchukua fursa ya uongozi from their bosses. Before you get into that, allow me to take this opportunity to thank Gypsy Corner. Gypsy Corner, we are so much grateful as a channel. Thank you for your consistent support. Atuichukue, we are not taking it for granted. Nilikuwa nataka kuisema kwa Kiswahili ndiposa unisikize vizuri ya kwamba mimi ni Mkenya. Tunashukuru sana kwa your consistent support. We really appreciate, and we are always here to ensure that we give our opinion on matters affecting the Republic of Kenya, and also matters that are touching us as a people and as a citizens of the Republic of Kenya. Before MIGUDA again, before I give you that opportunity to continue, allow me to take this opportunity again to welcome Barack to the studio so that he may also give us his opinion on this issue of impeachment and all these hullabaloos that you're seeing surrounding the impeachment. MIGUDA, you can proceed, and then maybe I'll give Barack I'll engage Barack on what he's supposed to respond to.
Thank you, Mark OBURA. To proceed to answer your question, I think I've exhausted the issue at national level. Let me just now narrow it back to the county government. You have said that, according to me, I don't see why a deputy governor should run for governor after they have done their 2 terms with the governor. That's where the people of Kenya made it a mistake, that once Uhuru have done the 2 terms with William Ruto, there was no need for William Ruto to make a comeback. Because if you look at across the country, most of the deputy governors, I don't know if any make a comeback, but a majority of them did not make a comeback. We have new governors. That's why you have seen people who have become governors, mostly senators. Senators were just on the bench. They were just warming up to become governors. Similarly, members of parliament, Senate, and the National Assembly, they should be warming up to become the next president or deputy president of this country. Let us not have these bad manners whereby we have served with you 2 terms and we want to change a new leadership. Then you are becoming a candidate in that election and you are deputy president. What is it that William Ruto was going to do for the next 10 years, which he could not do with Uhuru Kenyatta, or which he could not advise Uhuru Kenyatta at that time? He was the principal assistant to the president. They were having the big 4 agenda. If they could not implement the big 4 agenda with Uhuru Kenyatta, even if there was some political crisis within the, but the first term, they had first term to work. So this issue of people, whereby you have served for 10 years, then you come for another 10 years. What is it that you want to do for the Kenyan people that you did not do, or you did not advise your boss to do? Which is this magic you are going to apply, or this new idea? That's why William Ruto has found himself in a mess, because people are expecting a new idea, a new leader who have a new eye, or now is looking at the country. But William Ruto is trying to do the same things, the same time expecting a different result. You cannot resonate with the new energy. You cannot resonate with the new Gen Zs in town. The Gen Zs will chase you out of the town because what they expect you to do to them is contrary. Look at our governors. Most of the deputy governors never make a comeback. It's only Ruto who make a comeback a deputy president then is becoming the president. The issue of Rigiji should not focus on becoming the president. We, the people, we should look at our constitution, the executive structure, that once an administration has worked, for example, if Mombasa County, Joe worked for the last 10 years with the deputy governor, they should go home and give way to new leadership. That's how most of the people who were in deputy governors did not make a comeback, because people were tired with those regimes. Everybody was saying that when this governor is going home, let them go, all of them. We want fresh leaders. That could be even our reasoning at the presidential election, that once we are done with the two people, the way the people were done with Mwai Kibaki and Raila and Kalonzo, the prime minister, vice president, and president, 2013, they brought Uhuru and Ruto. So we are asking our legislatures, the Senate, the senators, and the members of parliament, warm up for this position. Do warm up to become the future president of this country. Do not focus on being compromised by the executive and with the future leaders. Do what is necessary. Do oversight role. Do representation. Do legislation so that we can identify you, because we must identify you in that house before we elect you as the president. We must identify you. We must see that, do you have the qualities? Are you qualified? Do you have the capacity? How will we know your capacity or your qualification and we are busy following a senior politician? Be independent, focus on your role so that we can identify you as a leader, so that going forward, we don't have this bad manners whereby you have served for 10 years and you want to serve another 10 years. So you want to be the government for the next 20 years, like William Ruto, 2013 to 2032. That is 20 years. 20 years, you are in the executive for 20 years. And there's no reforms to as a country. If you want to be in the executive for the next 20 years and the country is diverse, let us change this narrative, or whereby most of this thing of tribalism, Makobura, the joint ticket of tribalism, that we must merge as larger tribes for a person to be in the executive. You don't need to take 20 years in executive. 5 years or more in 10 years. That could be my argument.
I totally agree with you, Mr. Miguda. And, as a people, this constitution, it's supposed to govern us, and we are the citizens of the Republic of Kenya. And, so many people have said that it is the right time that we should relook into this constitution and maybe tubadilishe 1, 2, 3 things that we've tested na tukaona ya kwamba haziwork. And there was this proposal, that if, for example, we are going for election, if the governor is going to be a woman, then the deputy should be a man. I totally agree that it is okay. But again, I think what we should also look into, and we should also input in that constitution, is if I'm going for the governorship, Miguda is going to be my deputy governor. If we finish that term, we should also go as a pair. You should not, after we serving the 10th year, you are not supposed to come back and again and then take over for another 10 years, because that would be limiting even the people of Kenya who also have that ambition. There are so many people in the Republic of Kenya. The population in Kenya is too high. And remember, if I'm the governor and you're my deputy, of course you have a high chance of taking over. And you know what? The people will not actually get new leadership, because you will simply be continuing with the leadership style that I'd continued with for 10 years. I think we need to relook that and maybe make a change. Mr. Brother Benson, I think you'd proceed.
Okay.
Utauliza zile maswali kwa ndugu yetu hapa Barak, pia atupe maoni yake, and then maybe tutanyamaza kidogo, Barak atupe maoni yake of those questions that you'd asked. Then
Okay.
we'll come later, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Makobura, for holding in brief. I know you will keep on holding in brief because there's something also I'm working on, and I really appreciate you for that. And once again, you already thank Gibson Corner. I also want to thank him in a special way for his support. I tend to disagree with you before I bring in Barack on issue of amending that if administration goes together, because that one you are denying somebody a chance. What if these people were performing? You know, so what we should be looking at, to me, on my on my side, is about we the people. The people are they should decide not to, if you feel like this guy should, or this particular person should be running for presidency, because that one again, you will be denying him his chance to 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 lead, because everybody who wants to lead will always offer their candidature to the people of Kenya, and the people of the Kenya have the mandate to decide on who they want to elect. So what usually happens is, what I've always been talking about is a political illiteracy. And the political illiteracy is where we've formed an opinion that there's only one person who can solve the issues that we have. We limit ourselves. Like, talk about the Kenyan scenario. Yeah. Does it mean that we've run out of good leaders? When you talk about the Kenyan scenario, from the time when we got our independence to right now where we are, does it mean that we don't have good leaders? Even when people are going for election, there are those good leaders who usually brings their name on the ballot. But what happens is, because of political illiteracy, whereby we look at some people, one, that they cannot lead based on the history or their names. We talked about that one yesterday here. So it is about the Kenya people to come up and have that knowledge, or have that person that they feel can work for them. Yeah. So that even if you have 10 people on the ballot and you know all their history and you know what they stand for, then from there you eliminate them in a very faithful and transparent political process, rather than putting a cap or a law on who should lead. Yeah. So it is
Barack,
about us.
I mean, I totally agree with you, but
Yeah.
I think it is also right to note that we are a democratic country.
Yes.
I don't sikatai you.
Yeah.
But there's a time Barack said something that, as a country or as Africans, as much as we boast that we are in a democratic country, the democracy level, most of time, it is mostly enjoyed by wealthy or political class. But the people sometimes do not see that democracy. He gave an example that, for example, in Lowland, Raila would just come and then say that you are going to vie for member of parliament, and automatically I'll become a member of parliament, you see. So I think it is true that democracy should be there, but we should also accept as a people that, to some extent, we in Africa, or we in this culture, the environment where we are, we should not pretend that everything is okay when truly everything is not okay.
Yes.
In Africa, if Uhuru was the president, he served for 10 years. The deputy president was William Samoei Ruto, is the principal assistant according to the constitution. That means that if decisions are being made when it comes to running of the country, of course he is involved. He has a higher say. It is actually right to say that the two are running the government. But the ground where we are, the reason why I'm trying to say that I think we should block them not to go 10-10 is, the mentality of our leaders is different to the mentality that is somewhere else. The democracy in our country do not actually gives us that leeway to make the right decision. So when we open for them these doors, I'm telling you, Ruto left. Actually, with this new constitution, Uhuru left, Ruto has taken over. If they would have continued with Gachagua was also going to take over. And I'm telling you, the presidency is going to rotate into what region. And that is something that, as a people, we need to look at it.
So
if we don't solve it this way, it is not going to block these people from coming again.
okay, before Barak comes in, so what you're talking about is now we can look ourselves at a country and we acknowledge that we are multi-ethnic community, and if we want to solve the issues of leadership, no, we can talk about rotational leadership. But in the rotational leadership, now we don't bring it to a situation whereby we say, because you serve for 10 terms and with the deputy now you need to go. That one is denying somebody opportunity to present his Kenya, because the Kenyans are the people who are voting, and that's why voting is there. You know, that's why you begin that the voting. So you have to vote. If you agree, you have to vote out for him and out for him. Barak, thank you so much for joining. We are having this conversation about we the people, and this one is informed by the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, or impeachment of the deputy president. It's the second highest office, especially in our land. And we are just looking at the options. What kind of repercussions as a country or to as an office, and what president does it set for our country? You are highly welcome, my brother.
Oh, thank you so much, Ben, Mark, and Miguda, and hello to our viewers. I'm so happy to join in this discussion about the impeachment of our deputy president. I think, for me, I think it's a good thing that is happening in the history of this country, that we are having a legislature that is attempting to do their work, even though one may, I hear many people asking that, is that a priority at this moment? You know, the word priority is a subjective word, because priority to you might not be a priority to me. So if you see that that's not a priority, then maybe another person is saying that that's a priority. So I think it's a good thing in our democratic space that at least institutions are trying to work even though even if it might not be successful, but that attempt, the level that the impeachment has reached, it is a very good thing for our democracy. On the other hand, Kenya being a tribal nation, where everything is looked at at the lens of ethnicity, you can see some tribal comments that this tribe is trying to betray the other tribe, that this one is betraying the other person. This is something that has really been a vice in our society since independence. Politics of betrayal, politics of tribe betraying another tribe. But you know, if you look at individual betraying the other, then it's concluded that it's a tribe betraying another tribe. And it's unfortunate that even in the 21st century, and after the rise of the Gen Z revolution that we witnessed just a few months ago, that people can still start reasoning in using those lenses. It shows just that we have not moved as a country from where we were at independence, when Jomo Kenyatta fell out with Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. Because when Jaramogi fell out with Oginga Odinga, it was taken that Kikuyus and Luos are at a political war. And you know the result that followed. And that problem, up to now, it has never been overcome. That's why you see there's a lot of hostility between the Kikuyus and the Luo community when it comes to national politics. And even in this Gachagua's impeachment, you can see people still dragging the name of Raila Odinga in it, saying that he joined hands with Ruto and now the Gachagua is being victimized. So, you know, Kenya is one of the countries in Africa where people have really people are learned and people are educated. But when it comes to politics, I think this education and all the wisdom we acquire in school suddenly disappears through the window, because people now, when it comes to political issues, people try to retreat to their tribal cocoons and they start to reason looking at issues using those tribal lens, and that is the problem that we are supposed to deal with. And I have a question to Kenyans tonight. We are having a lot of problems in this country, And this country has been led by people from the Kikuyu and the Kalenjin community for over 60 years. And we are having all these problems. If these people are able to offer good leadership, I believe we have not been where we are as a country today. Kenya, a country that gave loan to South Korea in 1965, when Jomo Kenyatta was the president. South Korea right now is calling all African heads of state to Seoul to talk about economic activities. It shows you the level of the growth that South Korea has undertaken. From 65 up to now, I believe is almost 58 years or 57 years. And Kenya has gone back like more over 50 steps, because the economy of South Korea right now, you comparing with Kenya, is like, I don't know if it's more than 20 times of the one of Kenya. So it shows you that these people have been leading this country to the wrong direction, and they want to continue holding this country hostage in the name of we have numbers and we are the majority. Because if you have numbers and you're using your numbers correctly, we could not be having challenges that we're having right now. Look at Kenya right now, and everything is collapsing. Not education, health system, everything, nothing is working. And we've been led by the same people since independence. So we as a people, I love the question, we as a people, what are we going to do to ensure that we change our situation? Because we cannot continue entrusting the leadership of this country to the people who have been misleading this country and misappropriating the resources of this country for over 60 years. And we say that we are because of numbers. It is high time we start questioning, if you want to continue holding on into the presidency of this country, what have you done since independence? And why are we having the challenge that we are having, if it's about numbers? And that's why now I agree with the philosopher who say that democracy is a rule of the unfit. Because sometimes people use numbers to ascend into power, but they are not fit to lead. And Kenya is a perfect example. Look at where Kibaki left Kenya in 2013. And because of tyranny of numbers, Uhuru came to power. Those two guys ran down the economy of this country from where Kibaki left in 2013 to down south in 2022. And God forbid, Ruto took over from Uhuru. And he continued where Uhuru left. Now look at where we are right now. The level of debt that we have as a country, the collapse of our education system, our health system is nobody even knows what is happening in the health system. If you look even at how our country governments are managed, it's a replica of what is being done at the national level. Therefore, I believe it is high time for us as a country to ask ourselves, this kind of leadership is not sustainable, it's not taking us anywhere, and it is high time we change the way we vote if we want to take this country forward. We must not vote the same way we vote. And these people who have numbers must come out and lead this conversation and swear that they are going to change the way they've been voting for the good of this country. If they really care for this country, they must change the way they've been voting. Because if we continue depending on democracy and people with large numbers continue to misuse the numbers to give us bad leaders, then we are not going to solve our problems, because our problems is leadership. Bad governance. Bad governance is reflected from the state house to the local primary school where you went. Bad governance leads to collapse of systems. Bad governance leads to hopelessness in a society. Bad governance leads to unemployment. We have graduates, young people in this country who have no jobs because of bad governance. Therefore, for us to solve this issue of bad governance, we must start at the ballot. If you have been voting in this country for your community, then you are the biggest problem we have in this country. We must start evaluating leaders, not from using their surname or where they come from, but using their capacity to change the destiny of this country. I rest my case.
Okay.
There's a question for you, maybe.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Barak, there's a question. Gypsy Corner is asking that. Barak, just a question. Do you think we would have been in this situation if we didn't have a handshake and lies about phone calls to stop the Gen Zs? This is not tribal. Maybe your opinion on that?
I think trivializing issues has been a very big problem for this country. If you look at the relationship between Ruto and Uhuru, and the relation between Ruto and Gachagua, it is just the same script being repeated. It's only that now this one has come in the first term and the other one came in the second term. When you saw Ruto dismissing his cabinet and retaining Mudavadi, it was a clear indication that there was some kind of hostility between him and his deputy. So I don't know where the handshake came in, or the handshake did not come, because in this country, if you want to please a certain region, you must bring in the name of Raila Odinga, that is the one who has spoiled maybe a relationship between the president and his deputy. Even if it is true or it's not true, I believe the president has a duty of leading the country, and because he is the symbol of national unity, and he must ensure that there is different communities live together in harmony, and there's national unity, whether it's perceived or in reality. Therefore, I don't want to get myself into the discussion of handshake with Uhuru or handshake with Ruto, because I believe a problem existed before. And if you ask me personally, this issue of Gachagua impeachment, there is a third hand here that maybe people are not seeing. Gachagua got himself into a fight with the first family. That is for the Kenyatta family, and there are so many words that he uttered to run us to election, that he has been apologizing in public, even on radio station, apologizing to Mama Ngina and to Uhuru Kenyatta. But Mama Ngina and Uhuru Kenyatta have kept silent. They have never responded to him, so we don't know what has been happening to between the two. And you remember even when Northland Farm was invaded by goons, and they stole some sheep there. They burned down, and they even tried to build some structures on that land. And if you look at keenly, if you understand the Kenyan politics, you might feel that maybe it's not factual, but just an assumption, that maybe Uhuru Kenyatta has joined hand with Ruto and Raila Odinga to ensure that they take care of Gachagua, to remove him from Kenyan politics, because once you are impeached successfully, you become like Sonko and Gaititu. You just start blogging and saying what things that are not even meaningful. So if that might be, if you look keenly into this politics, because there is no way Ruto can be so silent, and the impeachment has reached parliament at the level of where it has reached, and this is his deputy. They've just been in office for barely 2 years. And you remember how they were showing their romance and praying together and promising with heaven to Kenyans that they can never differ, because they are a different lot. So I believe that the elites, there's a way when you touch one of them, they come together and they take care of you. So I believe that this is it's a game of the big boys now, joining hands, joining forces to ensure that they take it. Because at Gachagua, if you look at those clips during campaigns, he really went overboard when he was addressing the Kenyatta family, and I think that might be hunting him down now, and there is no one to save him from that from what's going on. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Barak. And that is what I call the political equation. And how do you balance political equation, especially when a political equation is being balanced? He who is used to balance that political equation usually bears the casualty. And I think right now, if to say, based on your analogy, because despite deputy president coming out and saying that we've reconciled, I'm seeing myself as I was stupid and now I've learned. But forgiveness is, if you ask for forgiveness, if it was like the family could have said, okay, we've forgiven, and now we are moving on. Or we could have even seen the closest allies of the first family are interacting with the immediate allies of the deputy president, which we are not saying into public. So that one also would tell us that the forgiveness was not accepted. And talking about the political equation on how you balance the political equation was when President William Ruto wanted to balance Uhuru Kenyatta in terms of presidency because he was having Raila. He used Rigathi Gachagua to balance Uhuru Kenyatta off from the presidency so that the closest ally of him does not get into the presidency. Once it is done, and now you are done. Barak, you talked of about the how the tribal and the numbers have been working. But one thing also I want you to share with us, I don't know whether you had an opportunity to listen to the health committee when they were interrogating the CS for health, you know, where she could not even explain to the public how the shift or the share, I don't know the name, is going to work. And if you go into the internet today, either TikTok, you will find so many people who are on dialysis are saying before they get their medication or because they get those treatment, there's a money that they need to pay for them to get that treatment. Yet when they were having an HIF, they were able to just go without paying anything. What that one tells you, or what picture does it give you?
You know, they even posted this shift. I even found a message here today that your NHIF account has been migrated successfully to Social Health Authority without my notice. So I'm even wondering they're forcing us with it by force.
Hello, Mr. Barak.
Yes, thank you so much. I think I also received this message that Mark is talking about, that you have been migrated without your knowledge. But you are notified. At least now you know. I think these are the challenges that we are talking. I was talking about that as a country we have a lot of systems that are collapsing, and you know the problem we have that with the okay. Let me say the problem that I have with the president is that in strategic ministries like health and education, he ensured that he put people there who cannot perform at all, people who have no knowledge of even what the ministry entails. And you know, health is the backbone of any society, because health and education, because you know, if when health system is collapsing, when there's no adequate health care, there's a lot of suffering to the majority who are the commoners. Because if we go to these public hospitals like Kenyatta Hospital, this dispensary that are there run by county government, if you go to MTRH in Eldoret, go to Kisumu, Juice, Jaramogi Oginga Hospital, you'll find that it's always crowded. From every day, it's always crowded, because that is where the majority of the population are going to seek for healthcare. And now, when this regime is coming up with as healthcare cover that is not even well understood, it causes panic even to the people who have been receiving services like dialysis, chemotherapy. They don't even understand how they are going to move forward now that we are migrating from NHIF to SHA and SHIF. I don't know if that is the correct pronunciation. So we have a problem with our very, very core ministries, that is health education, health ministry, and also education ministry. You saw what we have, what the problem we had with the transition from high school to universities, with the new funding model that even nobody can tell you how people are placed in band 1 to band 5, I don't know, band 4. Nobody, even the minister himself cannot tell you, because he does not even understand how that system works. The same thing with the Deborah. And you remember even Nahumicha is the one who initiated this thing, and because she was not able to explain it properly to the public, she attracted so many backlash. Every time she tried to explain, she messed up. She was messing up much worse than even the previous. So you find that this even the lady that has been brought in, she does not understand how this thing is going to work, and even the PS cannot explain properly how it's going to work. So these challenges are a product of this regime, a regime that was brought in by the so-called numbers. That's why I have a problem with this issue of numbers, because you bring in people who are incompetent, and they are going to appoint an incompetent CSS to continue to run down the country. And the mess they are creating now is going to be with us for many years. So the person who is going to come in is going to have a lot of work to do to ensure that he rights the wrongs of this regime, because they've insisted. We asked question even before this thing has been rolled out. They were not able to explain, but they insist that it must be rolled out from October 1st. Now it has been rolled out. I was watching that PS yesterday when on Citizen TV. He was asked very fundamental question about even the transfer of staff from NHIF to SHA. He was not able to explain how are services going to, how are you going to ensure that services are not affected, because people who are going on dialysis, people who need that services, there's no, they are not going to stop receiving the service because there's a from NHIF to SHA. So since they were not able to ensure that this thing, there's a smooth transition from NHIF to SHA, they have now affected many lives, many patients who are expecting to receive these services. So this kind of problem experiencing, we place it squarely to voters of this country for this incompetent to lead this country to the mess that we are in right now. So we have to learn from these mistakes, so that when we go to against the ballot, we evaluate competency of every candidate to ensure that if we mean well for this country, let us go for the most competent leader to take over the leadership of this country.
Okay, thank you so much. And Miguda, I just want to come to you because there's something that I've also seen. We've always been talking about the religious leaders, always about when it comes to the political processes. And now there are a section of religious leaders who are saying that the deputy president should ask for forgiveness. Why should he do so?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, you have reminded me of a story in the New Testament.
Yeah.
The Pharisees and the Sadducees,
Yeah.
and the teachers of law. You know, anytime, whenever we had any crisis in our society, people tend to seek a divine solution. So divine solution is very important and urgent, and I agree with me. I also believe in the God, and actually I believe in God as the supreme being. But this, I can just say it is a bad culture. It's not a good culture in this country, whereby we have given the religious leader autonomous belief that even if they are our intercessor between us and God, but I don't think they can provide all solutions. I just want to cite maybe two examples, if I may. Remember during the presidential election of the 2022, when Raila himself was crying out loud that his vote has been stolen and he wanted to proceed to Supreme Court, you saw people like Ole Sapit moving to Karen, from Karen to State House, in the name of trying to form more of arbitrary between Ruto and Raila. To that Raila, even Ole Sapit was quoted that he told Raila not to proceed to Supreme Court. And even if I have a constitutional right to move to Supreme Court, there's that religious leader who is coming to stop me from going to court. Is even stopping your right in the constitution because of the divine belief. If you feel that your votes are stolen, there's a procedure in the constitution that you must move to Supreme Court. You don't need to move to Ole Sapit or other things. So currently, religious leaders, even during the break between when Ruto and Uhuru they part ways, they try to intervene that let them come together. But you know that one was it was on a political context. There was no way they were coming together. And Raila was also fighting for himself after they have petitioned the elections, and you know what happened. So he was looking for a political space to fit in. So there was no way Ruto was going to come with Ruto has to go, Raila has to remain with the Uhuru Kenyatta. The religious leaders still insisted that Ruto and Uhuru should stick together. Currently, they are asking Rigiji to ask for Ruto, forgive you. Ruto, can you intervene so that you can ask members of parliament not to impeach your deputy? Ruto was silent to date. They have gone back to Rigiji now. Rigiji asked for forgiveness. It is not wrong. We are not castigating them. They are our religious leaders. But sometimes, let's solve, because when these people, for example, if at all those grounds for impeaching Rigiji are true, are proved beyond reasonable doubt, why is it that during the time Rigiji was committing those crimes, they did not intervene? That's my worry. That they only intervene when we are in crisis. But by the time people are committing those crises, they don't intervene. Elections were being stolen. They were not intervening. So stealing election to them is a good thing.
Ayaga, we can hear you.
Corruption is a good thing. Stealing election is a good thing. So the only thing they call bad thing is when these people are being punished. Why can't they allow the people who have committed these crimes to be punished? They don't want these people to be punished. It means they are part and parcel of this mess. They are part and parcel of these corruptions. They are part and parcel of this bad governance. I will part my ways with those religious leaders, but I respect them. But let them also intervene when our leaders are corrupt, when our leaders are misusing state resources. Let them intervene. Let them not only intervene, but the time we are in crisis.
Okay, thank you so much. And Makobura, I want to come to you because for the Uhuru Kenyatta administration, and William Ruto and Gachagua administration that is now having this problem. If you look at these two administrations, they have similarity in them. One of the similarity is the executive, the people that are in leadership, both the president and the deputy, are not agreeing at some point. And this administration is formed of si uchawi ni maombi. Yeah. How then would be what is formed in prayers can have such a disagreement? And God is a God that allows us to forgive ourselves and know that we've gone wrong. What is making it so hard for them even to forgive themselves, even for the president himself to forgive his deputy? Because this was formed on the spiritual basis. Government, Mungu ndiye alileta, hii ni ile ya Mungu alitupatia.
Okay. I ulikuwa umeiweka in a way that it is that painful, like, to understand, because they convinced us that they were God chosen. They convinced us that they were representatives. They're the people, they're the leaders that we've been waiting for. As much as we've been waiting for, me as a Christian, I've been waiting for the second coming of Jesus Christ. These people came. We almost thought that they were the leaders that we were waiting. Little did we know that these were conmen, a group of conmen who were brought together by they were actually brought together because I think they knew that there were some few families who were billionaires, until they wanted to join the club, and automatically they have joined the club. Among the accusations that they were accusing the deputy president is that he has acquired almost 6 billion within 2 years. That is just the deputy. So what about the president? I'm sure the president is even triple or more than that. So these people just wanted to join the club of wealthy people in the Republic of Kenya. And it is so unfortunate that they are looking for all this wealth in this world. It is not wrong or bad to look for wealth, but at the expense of the suffering people, I don't really advocate for that. At the expense of, it is they're becoming wealthy at a point where majority of the young people are not employed. Majority of young people cannot even join college, cannot even join universities. It is so painful, it is so unfortunate that leaders who are supposed to be helping the people of Kenya are more into making wealth. They are more into caring about their family. I heard that the deputy president I think he has 3 kids. And with all those billions, where are they going to take those billions anyway?
Grandkids are coming. Is a generational wealth. There's something called generational wealth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to know that this
God for
what
us all.
yeah, you have to know this what we call generational wealth. Mr. Eric Ayaga, habari gani?
Mzuri sana baba, uko aje?
Niko kwema, labda kutoka kwako.
Mi niko poa, ni stima imepotea pande ya hii ya Kenya hii side. Tunatesekea tu na pia wandai hivyo hivyo tu.
Na pia Wandaesi alikuwa ni expert bana. Expert simu inapotea aje bana.
It must go very soon, he will go.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining the show. We are told by the section of religious leader who are saying Rigiji to ask for forgiveness. So we are saying, why should he ask for forgiveness and to who? Who? Why?
Aya, mimi kama Mkatoliki nitakwambia those are nonsense things. You see, you see this group of leaders, church leaders. In fact, one of our problem is church. Yeah, even the election of 2022, there was a slogan that we left the church, but we don't leave God. But we left church because we can't now believe in what they are saying if they mean it or not. Somebody was called Mahatma Gandhi. He used to say that he said that provided the name of God is being praised, I don't mind or I will not care which book they are reading the word of God from, even if it is Quran, even if it is Hindu holy book or Bible. We will just praise the name of God. So that's where the problem is. The way I was predicting, I think yesterday but one, that the motion is coming. No Central Kenya MP, even Kimani Chungwa, will not move the motion. No one from ODM will move that motion. And I left my guesses either Coast, Ukambani, or Western. It come to fact. The information I have in the ground now, the Mount Kenya MPs may trick the ODM MPs to level them betrayer of the Central Kenya. They will say ODM entered the government. You know, there is a notion where, and that notion was brought by Ruto himself. Hawa watu waliingia kwa serikali ya Moi wakavuruga, wakaingia kwa serikali ya Kibaki wakavuruga, alafu juzi wakaenda wakashikana na ndugu yangu Uhuru Kenyatta wakavuruga UDA hiyo ka Jubilee mpaka wakaribu Jubilee. That notion awaits ODM again in next 1 week time. Take it to the bank. That one, right? Take just a notebook, write it down. Most of MPs from Central Kenya, after public participation, wanaweza kula kona mbaya sana. Waachie very few adamant leaders from Central Kenya, and majority will be the ODM people. And even Kindiki is not bothered. That seat is not coming for him. That seat, the way I said it the other day, will remain in Mount Kenya West if Gachagua is impeached. The DP seat will either go to Ann Waiguru, if you have a note, andika mahali. will go to either Anne Waiguru or it will go straight to one Kimani Chungwa. Kimani Chungwa has interest in this seat. That's where they have a problem with Ndidi Nyoro. Ndidi Nyoro is not a candidate for that seat. Kimani Chungwa has direct. So the problem will come when ODM, who also wanted that seat through Wanga, they wanted to propose Wanga. There was a prayer day. William Ruto was prayer day. And he proposed something like next time when we have an election, we should have, if the deputy, if governor is a man, deputy, a woman. President, a man, president, a woman. That's where I'm bringing the name of Anne Waiguru into this. She has higher chances than Kimani Chungwa. ODM is on this thing with an interest. They want Gladys Wanga to be the deputy of William Ruto. Kama watatumiwa kumtoa alafu wakaushwe mbele ni sawa, but wako na interest. The majority of people in Western Kenya, where I am, the other side of Kenya, they also have a belief that if they supported this impeachment motion, ati Mudavadi mtoto wa Ana anaweza pewa hiyo. So that is their interest there. So they have interest. And in politics, only two factors are constant: betrayal and interest. If the interest emerge, they work together. If they go opposite, it is betrayal. It is time these people are betraying Rigathi Gachagua. But I'm telling you, I have seen the government wameweka ile ka public participation, you can send email or box, whatever.
Yeah.
Address. Yeah. I have also seen that MPs are coming down to participate. I'm going to meet Otiende Amollo in Siaya County Hall. Yesterday I texted him and I asked him, why is this thing more important than Nyakongo MTC? Why can you give us the MTC that you promise us? You are doing nothing. You are going to sign something that is not even concerning us. This is not our war. It is these ODM people through Anga and the rest who told these Gen Zs the other day, ati hii vita si yetu, wacha wapigane wenyewe kwa wenyewe. Sasa wao saa hii wamerudi wanaingia kwa vita si yao. Sasa hata sisi tunauliza, hii vita wanapiga ni ya nani? Ni ya yetu huko chini, ama ni wao pia wako na interest yao? Na watueleze kama wanataka hiyo kakiti, because you can't be used when you don't have an interest, my friend. This why from the word go I said hii kitu ya Rigiji ni political attention ya Kenyans on serious issues are being diverted into somewhere. We are waiting for public participation, and I think they should made the public participation public to everybody. Then we see if the ground mood of the ground in Kenya is, do we want, even I think they should run even opinion poll. Is impeaching the deputy president is a national is a problem that affect Kenya directly, or in common man in Kenya? No, we don't have. We don't even care who is the president. We don't even care who is deputy president. What we want is service delivery. Is there any service delivery? Answer is no. No. Then you don't engage our brain discussing things that do not even concern us.
But
we are watching ODM. And
you saw how the member of parliament for Suna East, Junet, was even asking for security because they say that the matter that they're dealing with is very sensitive, and if Junet is talking like that, it means like the ODM is solidly behind this impeachment,
Exactly. Without ODM, do they have numbers to impeach a deputy president? The answer is no. So they are using ODM, like always. They use ODM. When they brought that thing called BBI, yenye tulizungusha Benson wetu tulikuwa na wewe hapa, tukazungusha tukatembeza hizo vitu ikakuja kuanguka few months to election. Even in fact I wasted my time, ningekuwa nimeconcentrate kwa corona na vitu zingine but I wasted my time discussing sijui BBI, reading kila amendment to other people. Ilikwama. Hata hii itaenda kotini, but I also there is telltale chini ya maji. Rigathi Gachagua anaweza resign, by the way,
on Friday.
anaweza resign
On Friday.
anytime. I don't know, but anytime before they take that vote. I think he's only waiting for public participation. If the public participation, like the one we did on a finance bill, the ground doesn't want it, but the MPs are pushing it. We will leave the MPs to push it, but the ground do not want it. And that's where the MPs always have troubles with these young people called Gen Z. Kwa sababu Gen Z will, actually they are going to speak. Gen Z will tell these people, my friend, that is a parliament. There are so many legislation. Hata hii shifa muongelee. Nimeona message zingine za SHA sijui shifa hapa kwa simu yangu leo. Talk to us about these things. This thing you are talking about is not about us. We don't have any problem. Better watuangane huko, we don't care. Yeah? But church should not mislead us this time round. The church misled us in 2013. In fact, Ruto and Gachagua was called church candidate. They were church candidate. They said a church has a candidate. In this time round, a church has a candidate. My friend, let us not fall for those things again. Let us be sober and ensure that we are dealing with the serious things that are ailing our nation now. Economy is bad. Let me tell you, all projects are stalled. Counties almost, wengine hata kuna counties zingine ziko karibu kusimamisha watu kazi. Watu hawajalipwa like 3-4 months because of I saw somebody there. They have not released money to the counties. Those are the things that affect common man. Hizo ndio vitu tunataka wabunge waongelelee. But this one, kwa public participation, tunaenda kukataa. Same way we rejected finance. If they refuse, their problem.
Na sasa Ayaga, kabla tujaleta Miguda azungumze, unajua kuna wale ambao wanasema okay, public participation ni mzuri, lakini utapata kuwa maviongozi wataleta tu, labda wanaweza kuwa wanaleta tu wale watu ambao wanawasikiliza sana, ndio waseme hii tulikuwa nayo sasa, na hiyo ndio public participation, na wale ambao labda wanapinga hawatapatiwa nafasi ya kuchangia.
Public participation za siku hizi, you can even do it in the media. In social media, you can do it, you can do them like yesterday I was just disturbing my MP. Why? I saw his name there. So Tienda Molo had to refer me to even some people in sijui where. So si kwa baya, we have to take these leaders accountable. I ask him, I saw your name there. So what concerns you is to remove the deputy president. What about the KMTC in Nyakongo Primary that you are supposed to give us? Yeah? Then he refer me. Then I say that is not my problem. Now, why did you sign that? I'm still waiting for response. Never responded for. So what I'm saying is very simple. After public participation, you will just feel it kwa mtandao everywhere, how people are doing their public participation, even in those town halls, yeah? Even in X, Twitter, Facebook live place kama hii, we will do a public participation. After that, I myself, I will tell Rigiji, now resign. The ground has refused. If the MPs wanted to go on with it the same way they did with finance bill, kiumanie mbele, you can resign, let them do whatever they want to do, wachague mwenye wanataka kuchagua, alafu to deal with these people hapa kwa ground. Then we made the ground so hostile that after that voting in parliament, they don't come down here. Wakae huko Nairobi. Wakikuja huku wagongwe. The same way walikuwa wamefanywa immediately after finance bill. They are thinking that the rage has gone. The rage is still on. The rage is still on. Wakenya bado wamekasirika.
Na sasa Ayaga, now yeah, the Kenyans are, because it's not something that is very, very popular on the ground, and so many people are asking for. But do the members of parliament or knows that like this thing is not popular on the ground, or they're just doing it because they've been told? And at what point, especially let's talk about the opposition, especially the ODM members who, for the period of long time before before the broad-based government, they were castigating this government, including the deputy president. What is change of mind that now it's only the deputy who is so much targeted?
Okay. Even the finance bill, the MPs, they knew. MPs knew very well that this thing is very, very bad for common man. They ignored. You even saw some MPs like Dagoretti South, member of parliament, standing in parliament saying, you know, the pictures you are seeing, Sijui, as an audit, Sijui what expert, the pictures you are seeing were taken somewhere, maybe in Rwanda in 1994. Then they are being edited as if that is Nairobi capital. In fact, Nairobi capital is very peaceful. Those things are not here. Those things were taken in Yemen. You see that? Even now they know. Not that they don't know. They know actually the Kenyans do not care for now who is deputy president. What Kenyan cares is service delivery, which is not there for them. For now, we even leave Ruto for now. We don't even care who is the president. What we want to know, whoever that human being who is called the president, is he giving us a service delivery? We don't even care the name. Let us just say the president, because that office exists. That office can even exist minus the holder of that office. The shield and the authority of the presidency in Kenya is something that exists. So we don't even mind whoever is there, if he converse in Kijamani, or he speaks French, or he speaks Kimasai, or he speaks Kikuyu, or he speaks whatever the language he speaks. He can even speak Kikuyu, but service delivery is what Kenya need for now. And ODM is being used poorly. ODM was used in 2018. They were used poorly, and this made me believe as a ODM member that ODM is not ready to form a government. In siasa, ukiona your opponent mwenye alikunyima power ama alikushinda, they are making mistakes, celebrate those mistakes. Don't go to that house and start rearranging for them. Wakati wamekaa chini wanasettle, unaenda na yeye kwa kiwanja, anapata anakugonga. Kwa sababu when they had their own problems, you are the one who was there kurekebisha hizi shida zote. ODM is being used badly, and today, henceforth, and I told you, tunangoja hii kitu ya African Union, whatever. We will have a party. We will go to ground. We will in fact, we are populist. We are going to ask people there. Number one, they told us, oh, Mbadi is now the Minister of Finance. Ile watu waliuliwa Kisumu watalipwa. Tunangoja sana. Hiyo maneno ifike hapo March, ikishakwama huko ikwame iende through. After that we are going to ground, na tunaenda kuwasha moto mbaya sana, because ODM don't want to form a government. ODM is not ready to form a government. They always want handshakes, to join government through back doors and other things. A party that want to form a government behave like wiper. Sometimes, even if Kalonzo is going slow, sometimes he must have a stand. And this time, hata kama Kalonzo ni watermelon, we are seeing some preparedness that this one may or want to form a government. Not that a party you are umeshindwa, badala ya kukaa ku opposition next time, usha collude na government, ndio hiyo. Kwanza ODM betrayed people. What William Ruto did when he was elected through Wetangula was wrong and unconstitutional. Azimio is the majority party. They got many numbers. I think walikuwa mbele na 6. So they are the majority party. If Raila had to negotiate, even Junet where he is making noise, yeye ndiye sahi angekuwa majority leader na Kimani Ichung'wah kuwe minority leader. This noise they are making, you ask them why? That thing, wangesema it was a wrong ruling. Let us go back to drawing board. Azimio is the majority party and you are the minority party. And then we work from there. Yes, but ODM is not ready. They are not ready. Makobura, hii chama yenyu is not ready. And the way we build it is the same way. We will attack it from the ground. Kama zile missile ya Israel inang'oa nyumba kutoka chini ndio inapeleka juu na inaweka chini. That is how we will deal with this party. And I'm telling you, next year there is a party that will be formed in Luo Nyanza. That party will be led by none other than Babu Owino. And then there is a party that is going to be formed in central Kenya, will be led by Didi Nyoro. Those two people, wakishikana pamoja, we can have actually a deputy president and a president in that wing. Na Gachagua pia vuruge huko, Kalonzo pia vuruge ngambo hiyo. Ruto atashindwa na ODM yake mapema sana.
Very well, Eric. To Mr. Barak, there's a question that I wanted to ask you, and then Eric will also give his view on that. If this impeachment goes successful, how is it going to impact the future politics and the behavior of the position holder of the deputy president or the deputy governors? If it goes successful, how is it then going to impact even the behavior of politicians, the president, the governors? Is it going to change, and is it going to bring this mentality that if someone cannot perform, we can impeach? Is it going to remind the legislators that the Constitution gives them the mandate to impeach a leader if they are unable to do as per the expectation of the people? Mr. Barak, you'd go first. You'll kindly clarify to us, if suppose it goes through, of course it is going to be the first that we'll be witnessing since the promulgation of 2010 Constitution. But again, kindly clarify to us how politicians would be thinking about it. Is it going to change how they act, how they behave? Is it going to bring back the accountability bit? Is it going to change the behavior of the president to an extent that if maybe he wants to, in his governance, is it going to change it to an extent that you're going to see leaders who are accountable? Hii mambo inaenda kuwaogopesha ndio wafanye the right thing ama namna gani? Mr. Barak.
Well, thank you, Mark. I think, sorry for that. So I think the success of this impeachment, as I said before, that this is it is a very good thing for our democracy. that an institution like parliament can attempt to impeach a deputy president. That alone speaks volume and positions Kenya as a country where democracy is really on another level. That is one thing. Another thing, you know, it is sad in this country that people say that the impeachment of Gachagua does not affect them in any way, or it's not a priority to them. You know, the reason why we have so many problems in this country is because we don't care to put our politics in order. And as long as we are not putting our politics in order, we cannot experience the level of development that we want, because the development of a country starts by ensuring that politics of a country is in order. And since we have never cared to ensure that our politics is in order, that's why you see us going through the problems, and we are just being taken around in circles by these politicians because they know that we are ignorant and we don't know the effects of politics on our daily lives. Because once we do have as presidency that is not walking the same direction, they are not speaking the same language, I can assure you that's why we will continue having challenges as here at the grassroots level. Because when politics is in order, that is when services will reach the common people. We cannot experience development, economic growth, good quality healthcare, quality education, when we are being taken around in circles by these politicians. Therefore, it is important for that. I think we need a serious civic education in this country for people to understand how politics affects their lives directly, starting from the MC at the local level, at the county ward level, to the presidency at the national level. When this politics is not in order, I can assure you your life will be affected negatively, directly. Look at even what's happening in Nairobi County. The poor sanitation in the county of Nairobi right now. How people are suffering in dispensary because politics. So people who thinks that this whatever is going on in parliament right now does not concern them, they should think again, and they must understand that politics affects them directly. So it is important for us as a country to ensure that even when we are going for election, let us put leaders in place who are going to ensure that our politics is in order and they're going to serve the people of this country. So how you ask a question about how is it going to affect the behavior going forward. We must understand that impeachment comes for various reasons. Sometimes the people who are in authority, they can initiate impeachment for their own benefit. Let me ask you, for example, you remember how Sonko was impeached? Sonko was elected the governor of Nairobi. His deputy ran away in barely 3 months in office. Along the way, after 1 year or so, he was called to State House and he was, I don't know, coerced or persuaded to sign some documents, allegedly surrendering some functions that belongs to the county government of Nairobi to the national government. And after some few months, Sonko alleged that he was, I don't know whether he signed, when he was drunk or he was coerced to sign those papers, and he said that he does not agree with what the document that he signed. And that is when now the head of state decided, the then Uhuru Kenyatta, that they are going to teach Sonko a political lesson, that whether you like it or not, we are going to take back Nairobi from you. And that is what happened. They organized his impeachment. He was hurriedly impeached, and Nairobi stayed without a governor for some time before Anne Kanonu was brought in to take over. Sonko was impeached because of reasons that were not political, but they were economical. Look at how Babaya was impeached. The same way. So the impeachment of Gachagua, in my opinion, I can assure you that the elites, the big brothers of this country, Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, and William Ruto right now, they have come together and formed a coalition that we are not able to see, to ensure that they deal with Gachagua for the utterance that he made in the run-up to 2022 elections. That is why you see a big number of members of parliament signed the motion, because they know that they are protected by the big brothers of the country, the big brothers in politics. So we don't know the relation that is going to be going forward, the relation that is going to be there between the coming president and his deputy, because relationships determines circumstances that someone can be impeached. If you look at those grounds, that the 11 grounds that the member of parliament for Kibwezi cited as ground for impeaching Gachagua, you will see a lot of politics in it, and even utterances that were made way back when they were still new in office. It is because someone wants this guy out, but they want to look for grounds to remove him. Therefore, I believe that going forward, a president will be very careful with who he picks as his deputy in order to avoid whatever you're going through right now. And I insist, because of this succession politics and managing succession, that once someone is elected, they start thinking of the next election. This hostility will not end, because someone believes that I was elected with you, that there's no way I can leave office and you stay in office. There will always be push and pull, because this is the problem. We have never had this problem when we are having vice presidents, because vice presidents were very loyal because they knew they can be sacked by a stroke of a pen. But this issue of deputy presidents, because of ambitions, political ambition, once someone comes in office, you remember Ruto, when he came in office 2013 as the deputy of Uhuru, he started planning himself strategically, positioning himself as the next president. And he did that successfully, despite opposition from Uhuru Kenyatta. And you remember, even when these guys came in office in 2022, politics of succession started immediately. And they started saying that in 2032, Ruto will hand over to Gachagua. And I don't know, and Murkomen will become the deputy president, and Gachagua will hand over to Murkomen, then Ndindi Nyoro will become the deputy. So those kind of nonsense is what you see is making us find ourselves in this situation that we are finding ourselves right now. Because people, once they get in office, they are seeing themselves as the next person taking over leadership. And those kind of things, they make people to become so impatient, and they start behaving like now they are equal at the presidency, and it strains their relationship. You remember one day Uhuru said that they were in a relay with Ruto, and instead of Ruto waiting for him to hand over the mantle at the other side, Ruto started running backwards, coming for the mantle even before Uhuru reaches the finish line. So this is because of ambition. Politicians have ambition, and another thing is that because of these numbers that people want, so that they can reach the 50 plus 1%, they try to look for someone who can command big numbers. And these people who can command big numbers, they have very serious ambitions. Once that makes them, when they get in office, they start coveting the highest seat, and this will continue going round in cycle until we relook into this constitution and ensure that we have a president and a deputy president who can work with the deputy president not having ambitions of succeeding him. But as long as we have a deputy president with the ambition of succeeding the president, this kind of animosity will continue in this country. I rest my case.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barak. We are almost winding. I just want to hear your comment on this issue of impeachment of the governor of Kericho. he was actually impeached amid, the court had actually halted that impeachment, and it seems like the county members, the members of the assembly, went against the pronunciation of the court. I just wanted to hear your take on that, on the impeachment of the governor, whether it was, according to you, are you seeing it as a legal thing or something that is illegal? Being that the court had said that the members of county assembly were not supposed to proceed with that impeachment. Just that, and then maybe you'll give us your last comment before we end the show.
I think the issue of courts issuing an injunction against national, I don't know, this county assembly not to conduct their mandate. We have a separation of power. I don't know why the legislature, no, the judiciary interferes with the role of the legislature, because this institution, they are independent, and no institution should interfere with the other institution how they carry out their mandate. And if one feels that they've not gotten justice after the process has been completed, like the way Kavira Mwangaza did, that's when now you go to the judiciary for arbitration, because now you say that a process started in the county assembly and it was not fair. You are not given maybe a fair hearing or whatever. But you cannot go in the judiciary to stop as an institution from carrying out their legal mandate. Impeachments are political processes, and they should allow county assembly members or even national assembly or senators to conduct their mandate without interference. And if maybe someone has been impeached and they find that it was not fair, let them now move to the court for arbitration purposes. It has happened before. You remember Martin Wambora, who was the first governor to be impeached. He went to the judiciary and he ended up serving 2 terms. You remember governor for Wajir, governor for Meru right now, the case is still in court. So governor for Kericho should now go to court after now the impeachment and can convince the court that the process was not fair. It was not given a fair hearing. But I don't agree that the county assemblies or even national assembly or the senate should be stopped by the courts from carrying out their mandate, because they are elected to represent people. They're elected to oversight the executives. So they should do that mandate without interference from the judiciary. My final comments. Pardon?
Yes, proceed.
Yeah, my final comments today, I think I just want to speak to those who are listening to us this evening. Let us be open-minded and understand that when politics is not right in our society, our lives will be affected directly, and we will not be able to experience the level of development that we are supposed to experience as a society. So let us ensure that we sanitize the politics of this country. Well, if it means removing Gachagua, removing Ruto, removing anybody, let it be so that we can make our politics right, and we can start experiencing the level of development that we are supposed to experience. Kenyans are so hardworking. Kenyans are so aggressive. Kenyans are so ambitious. The only problem that we usually get wrong is politics. And when the day will come when we'll start getting politics right, when we go to the ballot, we vote for the right people, I can assure you Kenya will be one of the superpowers of Africa. Maybe it can happen even in our lifetime. So let us just put our minds together, open our understanding of politics, and ensure that politics affects our daily lives, either positively or negatively, depending with how we have decided to put it as a society. Therefore, let us go to public participation, let us air our views, but with having in mind that when politics is not right in a country, development, progress, zero. But when politics is right in a country, you will experience high level of development, high level of human growth, high level of economic growth, and everything will go north. Thank you so much for listening to us. Asanteni sana, tuonane siku ingine.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barak. I don't know whether I'm going to let you go because I'm seeing another guest. There's another guest behind the scene. I don't know whether I should engage him for 1, 2, 3, some 5 minutes. I think I should release you. I engage him for 5 minutes and then maybe I close. Kindly. Before you go, I want to say thank you so much for joining. Tumeshukuru sana. Nilikuita, we had not actually prepared you, but you came. We really appreciate. Thanks for giving us your thoughts. Na tunashukuru. I hope next time tena utakuja. Asante sana, Mr. Barak.
Asante sana, see you.
Okay, thank you. To our viewers, allow me to take this opportunity to thank you so much. We are very much grateful. If you are new to this channel, this is Brother Benson Media. Here we say your opinion counts. You can always comment, like, na tutashukuru. If you are new, kindly like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Mr. Kip, why are you late?
I know, I was been hustling around.
It's okay. That is the spirit of Kenyans. You know, Kenyans are the most hardworking people, I think, in the whole world.
Exactly.
And it is so unfair that we are not being treated by our government in the right manner. Yeah, so we've been having a very long conversation that have actually gone for more than almost 3 hours now. And we were almost closing. But then wewe ni mwenyeji. I decided to maybe before we go nikupea dakika kidogo.
Labda maneno mbili tatu. Tunaona umesema eti mnaenda public participation on Friday.
Mambo ni mengi, you know.
Now let me ask you, how will that public participation be counted for that? The people of Kenya have decided that the deputy president must be impeached. How will they count it?
You know, like there are so many.
We will be in case KICC, and other Kenyans will be in wherever they will be. How will they count that? 10 people, they have said no. 20 people, they have no.
You know, normally when they're doing public participation, they don't always, they don't have to hear the voice or hear from everyone. So normally, I don't know how they do it, but there's wanatafutanga tu watu wengine hapo kidogo wanaongelesha, but previously what we've been seeing is that unaona sana sana hizi mambo ya finance bill, niko sure these members of parliament wanaendanga tu mahali na wanachagua watu kidogo, wanapea kitu kidogo, wanawekwa wakuje huku wakisema yes, wanakuja kusema that Kenyan said yes, and you know you cannot dispute that because they are also Kenyans, but you cannot know what really happened behind the scene. And I always say that I think we should get out of that conmanship. We should get out to that way of life whereby we are being compromised or we are being given something so that we may change our mind and our thinking. The members of parliament should be very truthful to the people of Kenya by listening to the people of Kenya, so that they would get the typical truth from the ground. Yeah, so we've actually spoken about so many things. I don't know whether you are watching. Ulikuwa unatutazama ama huko kwa...
Yeah, I managed nikasikia kidogo.
Yeah, so maybe unaweza tupea tu your take kidogo on what you had before tufunge.
Yeah, what I heard is just what these guys were discussing about ODM is the next.
Okay, the issues that we were talking about, maybe on a brief note, is the Constitution says that we the people, we have what it takes. We have, ni sisi tunaamua vile tunataka kuongozwa, vile tunataka kufanya kila kitu. And then with this impeachment bit, of course, you know, we as the citizen, we have a say. We have to decide. So we were just trying to look at what is our role as a people, with the people, what is our role in the running of the government, in participation in participation in the governance and the running of the government. What is our role? What is our take? Are we supposed to be seated somewhere tukingoja every election ndio tutoe maoni yetu, ama are we supposed to get involved by giving comments, by participating, by going for demonstration, any way that people in leadership can get to understand us? And then we also looked at the reason why this issue of impeachment is going on. We've not had the president even commenting about it. The likes of Raila not commenting, Uhuru. Does it mean that they're also aware of this and they're supporting it behind the scene? And then we also talked of the issue of the impact of this impeachment. How is it going to, what are the impact, what are the effects? Is it going to change the view of leaders to an extent that my governors and my deputy governors, the president, are they going to start behaving in a way because wanajua that the people of Kenya washajua that okay, mess kidogo we can impeach you, because you know if we have this impeachment itakuwa imetuonyesha njia, so zingine haziwezi kuwa ngumu. So maybe unaweza tupea maoni yako kwa hayo yote ina
our role, Mark, in Kenyan politics is the biggest part of it. But it's only that during the time we are exercising our powers as it is in the Constitution, somebody somewhere is there to make sure that our roles as a people is not exercised. Like you see now, when we talk of, for example, impeaching the deputy president, for me, I don't understand a scenario whereby when it comes to voting, the deputy president qualifies to be in government because he has been appointed by the president to be his running mate. And when we vote, we are not deciding. He's the one deciding for himself that this is my running mate. I'm looking for votes, you vote for me. Now again, when it comes to impeaching, you see now it goes to parliament. Now parliament, they have sent it back, the thing to the people for public participation. Whereby, as I was asking you, how will we count it for that Mark and maybe Captain, they have decided that the Rigiji must go. Maybe BENSON has said, no, Rigiji must not go. And maybe 3-4 people. How will that thing done? Or they'll just be using the sound. That is where now when you say our role is not being looked into when it comes to Kenya government politics, and maybe even in Kenyan government, all the things that are done in government, ordinary mwananchi is not considered. This thing you are talking about of getting a message from Shifu, I don't know even. I was not even asked that question. When you ask me about Shifu and Sijui Nini, I don't know what is it all about. And they have told me just to dial something there and update my profile. So I don't know what to do. Our role has been pressed down by the people in power. The only leaders when you are voting for them. After that, you go up there, they do their things. You see? So that's why when it comes to now telling people that in fact, Kenya will be like, it has a very good democracy. Unavuta mtu kazi alafu unakuja kutuambia ati Kenya iko na demokrasia. That is wrong. Something is wrong. Na muliomba naye kura. In the first place, even the president himself is not telling us anything. He's not commenting anything about this impeachment. As you have said, even Raila, they are not saying anything. For Uhuru, I know Uhuru, he said that me, I hand it over and I go. I don't want to come in to interfere. We understand him for that. Because even until now, I don't know the mistake of Gachagua. Alijaribu kujitetea juzi hapa kwa media ile alikuwa ameita media, lakini bado wanamuonea. Sasa mtu kama Faruk surely mtu kama Sudi surely anaonekana kwa gate pale, anaingia mpaka kwa nyumba ya deputy president ati anamwambia uondoke. Who are we now? Where are the people? We are the people who voted in for him as per the constitution. Sio mtu mmoja Sudi ndiye alikura ama Faruk. Faruk has been acting like to be the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya himself. Kushinda kila mtu. We have had all the presidencies. Moi alikuwa, tumekuwa na Kibaki, tumekuwa na Uhuru juzi hapo. Hatujawahi ona mtu kama Faruk kwa hiyo timu yao yote. Kwa mfano niambie nani alikuwa ana act kama Faruk kwa nani? Kama Faruk kwa Kibaki. Nani? Upande ya Uhuru ni nani? Hakuna. Huyu Faruk huyu
upande ya Moi kulikuwa na mengine. So does it mean that huku kwenye lazima mtu akuwe na
tupatie mfano.
The total one was like deputy president.
He was always appointed as a minister. Huyu hajaappointiwa chochote.
Yeah, that's the difference. I agree with you.
Hana any portfolio in the government. But he has a say. In fact, a very big say even than the elected
being
people.
Told is the personal assistant of the president.
Where in the constitution? Where? Tell me where. We are now forcing things because we are in power. Ndio saa ingine wanasema wakiingia pale wanaenda kulewa uongozi. Inakuwa ni ulevi sasa. Wewe unaenda State House unatoa friji ya pombe. Kama Uhuru alipata hiyo friji ya pombe hapo, wewe unatoa kama nani? Hiyo ni mali ya Wakenya. Those are assets of our country and it has to be there. If you don't want to put bombe, weka maji. Kama uweke maji, wachana naye hapo. Mwenye atakuja kuweka bombe yake kama atakuwa anakunywa. No, sometimes we get mad when you think of this government of William Ruto because it is trying to be like heaven on earth. Yeah, iwezekane bwana. Kama kuna kitu deputy president alifanya, mbona Uhuru yako mumpiche ile wakati? Si alikuwa anazunguka akilaunch maproject zake fake hapo. Na Uhuru anajinyamazia. So what is he trying to show her that at sijui? And for me, even if I was Kashagwa, ningeresign tu nijiende nyumbani. There is another day to fight for this thing. No. So anyway, ODM wakiona mwenzao akinyolewa nywele wao wajitie maji. Maji.
Yeah, maybe something else that maybe you've forgotten. Hii mambo ya impeachment, it's going to be the first time. Is it going to change the view of leaders? For example, the president. Labda atakuwa anaanza kuogopa that impeachment is
I want to say on it first before we move maybe because the thing I know it will also affect to counties also. It has to go to counties. And the first county that has to be started with is Nandi County. We are Nandi lazima aende. How it is going to affect some of us, I don't know. That is one of the questions you ask me. Because when it comes to now like choosing again another deputy president, are we going for the ballot? Because we have never had such an experience of this that they are going to do now. Which criteria is the president going to use to choose another deputy president before the election of 2027? We want to be told. Because Kashagwa, he was appointed and he ran with him, and he was also looking for votes on behalf of his boss. According to constitution, hata yeye alikuwa ana qualify. Yes, qualified leader as a deputy president because of the constitution is divining him to be there. So now, if maybe by Friday I resign, or even before, which criteria is the president going to operate in governance for the remaining years alone without a deputy? Mark, is it defined in the Constitution that in a case whereby a deputy president has been impeached or he has resigned, how is it picked? Are we going for the IBC again?
No,
Or
he will have the mandate to just elect, and then he'll go through the parliament for the approval.
elect or
Atachagua
appoint?
appoint, I mean, anaweza chagua tu mtu anataka, alafu apelekwe huko, watu wakisema au representative wenye tulishachukua, you know, we had taken the delegated power we gave to them. They're the people who are going to give.
Akitaka appoint hiyo Faruka appoint tu, ampatie awe deputy wake, awatane na Wakenya wapambane na mashida sawa. Tumechoka hata sisi. There is somebody say there that this leadership has been Kikuyu Kalenjin, and we have problems. I also say people are not mad. You are not mad to say that. Even the guy who say that is not mad. Even the people who are complaining on the other sides of the outside, even the platforms and all whatever, those people hawajarukwa na akili, hawako kicha. These people, they must ask themselves why there is a lot of complaints each and every time. Complain. Sikuwe tu ni walk over tu, mnakaa pale mnangoja 2027 mnaingia tena mnabadilisha Mulima Rift Valley. While you are not delivering the best to the people of Kenya, you are just there each and every day. Muko tu pale.
This is the comment. I think Laban Mission is the one who commented that maybe if we are going to, if you want to stop having all these political problems where the deputy keeps fighting with the president, it could be it's because, you know, majority comes from Mount Kenya, and then majority also comes from Kalenjin. So, you know, when the two community wakishikana, they always have a say. So Laban was saying that maybe if we stop this issue of Kalenjin and uniting with Kikuyu, then we'll not be having deputy fighting with the president. I think because the deputy feels that he brought alileta kura, tena kura mingi sana. And you know, he's coming from Mount Kenya, so he believes that nilileta watu wa kwetu. That was the bargaining power. The president also is saying that hata mimi nilileta watu, so ni kama walileta katikati. So that is the conflict that is also there. So maybe kama deputy angekuwa natoka niseme kwa these are the small tribes, then hii mambo ya kupigana, watu kupigana kuangalia ya kwamba nilileta hii from this community haingekuwa.
Hii kitu anasema ati alipiga mesa ngumi. Wapi hiyo video? Where is the video? You want to be shown, because it cannot be in the limelight. Everybody knows that deputy president aligonga mesa na hatujua tu kuona. Because most of the time the president and the deputy, the media must be there when they are maybe having a meeting or what. There was not like a secret meeting ambapo media wange kuwa pale ndani. There must be. So na hata sieti hiyo watu wote wako State House, wote si ati wako abnormal mpaka hakuna hata moja angeweza piga picha. No, hiyo ni uongo, hakuna kitu kama hiyo.
Maybe we wait and see, labda wataileta kama evidence kwa hiyo siku ya kupeana evidence.
Mi hata ningeonelea kama ni Rigiji aende wafanye kesi yake kama kotini sasa, ati siku fulani ulifanya hii evidence, ndio siku fulani ukafanya hii evidence, ndio hii. Ndio sasa wananchi wa Kenya wakae wakijua kumbe deputy president wao alipiga mesa. If you are doing the wrong thing now, Mark, and I'm seeing you are doing the wrong thing. Siendi alikuja akatuambia ati alifika State House ile wakati walinalify election, then he didn't want to tell us what was going on there, because he said that we all know. He was trying to mean that the president was drunk. And sijui akaambia Uhuru akamwambia mimi naona ni wachane hii kitu, sijui niende Ichawiri, sijui nini. Siende alikuwa anasema ati alikuwa anataka kumslap. The best way also is when Rigiji aligonga mesa kama rafiki yake kuliko aenda aongee mesa kwingine. Aligonga mesa akaangalia, ndio ajua alikasirika, yeye hata akubali hiyo kitu. Sikuwe tunachukua usito kwa pande wengine, lakini ikifika kwa pande yetu hatutaki tuangaliwe, tutolewe ile kitu iko kwa macho. Lazima hata wewe Mark nikutolee, usinitolee tu mimi peke yangu, na kutolea hata wewe nikiona ile inakusumbua kwa macho. So in reality for me, what Rigiji has done, I don't think he deserves to be crucified in such a manner that we want to impeach him. No, there is no need. This leave alone this guy. Huyu alishindwa kunyoa nywele, mara analia peke yake kwa studio, mara hata sijui, mpaka hata watu wameogopa kuingia huko, analia peke yake. So Mark, I don't know, there is something wrong with Kenya. So it is now also in the public domain that Raila hapati tena EU. South Africa wameepa.
Is it really true ama hiyo ni just social media?
Niliona mtu amepost mahali ati sijui.
I don't think it's a verified. I don't really think it is a verified.
Ramaphosa, I think the president huko ni Ramaphosa.
Yeah, I don't really
they are
think
voting according to SADC something.
I don't think it is verified, but we'll confirm and let our viewers know. Maybe something else. Well, the members of county assembly of the members of county assembly of Kericho, the MCAs of Kericho County, will impeach the governor. But the court had somehow given an injunction that they should not proceed with that impeachment. But they went ahead actually to impeach. And there are people saying that the court should not actually get involved with the parliament or the assemblies when they're doing their constitutional role. But again, people are saying that the courts should first be listened to before the county governments make a decision. So currently the governor is already impeached. Maybe we are waiting to see. Maybe your opinion on that impeachment, is it? Yeah, your opinion.
What happened? There's a day I saw a clip. He was crying. Oh, I have.
Aliwahi lia akaambia watu that the MCAs that wanafaa wamwache kama alifanya makosa hata alia.
Mtoto ya mtu.
Yeah, and that
asiachishwe. If you have done wrong, why should we sympathize with you? Go enda kwako, wewe ni baba ya kwako huko. Wewe si baba ya county. So many people are there in that county waiting for your service delivery, not coming to tell us you are a father of somebody or you are a son of someone. Those someones and fathers of people, they are waiting to your service. If you have failed to deliver the service to the people, go home. Somebody else can come in and handle that battle for you. There is no any reason you should be spared if at all you have done wrong to the people of Kenya and specifically Kericho County. There is no need. Sparing the road, you are spoiling the child. Atembe kama ameipa pesa. Hata ingine hapo Eldoret lazima atatembea tu. Agon bado agon ile tabia.
It's okay. Thank you, Mr. Kip. It was nice having you, even though jaka sana. Tunashukuru sana that you. I'm trying to get captain. I'm trying to get captain started. Ebu ongea na ndugu yetu before tufunge.
This guy is drunk. Wachana huyo analewa. Unajua si tukikunywa bia yeye anakunywa vitu zingine sumu.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so maybe before we end the show, allow me to say thank you to our viewers. It was nice it was nice hosting you guys. All the likes of Captain Keep, Barak, and who else was also there? Eric, we are very much grateful and we really appreciate. So kindly, if you are new, this is Brother Benson Media. You can like and subscribe to the channel. We will really appreciate. Keep maybe your last remarks before we close.
My last remark is that guys, come out in large numbers. You are in Nairobi, go there on KICC there and go and see how these criteria you are going to use to agree on impeachment of deputy or disagree. And go there and take care of votes. Musiibe kura ndio tiaende. Kama ni kukataa mkatae. There is no need because these people they just want to steal and Rigiji amekataa. Juu yeye anataka shida yake pia. Anyway, for the people, Gypsy Corner, namsalamia Gypsy Corner sana. This guy, one day I'll just want like to see him, you know. Very active everywhere on comments, very active.
Yeah,
YouTube lazima walipe huyu jamaa. Huyu jamaa ana promote sana.
Yeah, Gypsy Corner umesalimiwa na Captain Keep mwenyewe. Amesema asante sana kwa kutu support. Sisi pia tunashukuru. We are very much grateful. Keep umemaliza.
Hata octogenarian pia si ati ni mtu mbaya, ni vile tu sasa najua alikataa kinyosi. Lakini
unajua kunyoa ni expensive. Unajua kunyoa economy imekuwa mbaya, kunyoa imekuwa too expensive.
Squeezing by the way ni expensive. Hata saa hii Kenya zilizo mbili.
So kindly go usikanyage Kenya revolutionary sana.
Mimi nataka kulala bwana. I have a lot of duties.
Okay, thank you so much to our viewers. Sasa Mr. Keep, tutaongea behind the scene. Allow me to say thank you to our viewers. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for commenting. Until tomorrow we'll also have another show. If you are new, I'm reminding you to kindly like and subscribe. Na tutashukuru. To those of you who are within, I'm saying have a blessed night. Those of us who are not around in the other continent, we're also saying thank you. Have a good morning, good evening. Until tomorrow, thank you and bye-bye.